Tes 1, 2, 3 balik lagi bareng TAKO Ranger. Halo Delana, welcome to the TAKO Universe Multiverse of Freedom. Let's go. Ini padahal gue belum munculin kamera ya. Sebentar ya. Kita nobar dulu nggak sih? Ini ada copyrightnya nggak ya lagunya? Ada copyrightnya nggak ya lagunya? Tapi ya utslah yau. Nah, ini dia. Gua udah muncul. Kita hari ini nobar dulu ya, nobar. Kita nobar aja dulu, nobar. Hari ini nobar kayaknya, tapi nanti jeda nobar sorry. Jeda nobar kita gengsing lah gitu. Mana cam gue pindahin dulu dah. Sini nih. Ketutupan ya. Nah, ada sini dah. Gimana capsnya? Baik-baik semua? Oh maga, bakalan sengit nih jelas. Pakai suara nggak ya guys? Dukung siapa adik-adik? Dukung siapa adik-adik? Lu dukung RRQ pasti ya? Lu pasti dukung RRQ kan, Delana?
So right now, Barras has been banned away as well. For RRQ, with so much mobility, with so much burst potential, if they can deny the tanky members, the PPR heroes from the side of Blacklist, they can get success in the early game.
Yep, and again, Australian is looking himself the M3 Grand Finals MVP, Oheb, with a very powerful code words of, I'd say, competition for the King of Kings. Good luck, we will destroy you. Well, it's going to be tough because, again, the first 3 picks from RQ already very strong. Very rarely do we see a lineup that has the Joy and the Fanny in the first phase. Now wrapping up their draft. What's Skylar to pick? There goes the Harith. What's left?
Nobar, choose.
With the Harith banned down, I mean, there's still potential. Depending, it's so difficult right now because it really depends on what you want to go for. We've seen that, for example, the Lunox can come into the gold lane. But
apa tadi tim kesenangan? Apa kok dihapus? Dihapus apa kehapus itu, Bang Snow? Dihapus apa kehapus? Nobarnya di sini aja lah kita. Tim kesayangan gue jelas, mantap. Mana Blacklist?
Jays, are you thinking this should be the Fredrin? Because if not, I can expect Blacklist just snap pick it as soon as we come back.
Yeah, definitely. If this ban is not a Fredrin, it will be snap picked by the side of Blacklist. But that's also another thing. RRQ has also considered the fact that the Beatrix might know it's going to be the Boxer gets taken away instead. I like what RRQ is thinking as well. Yes, there could be a Fredrin pick going in, but I think a Beatrix will be better, in my opinion, for the side of Blacklist.
Iya dong, mendukung produk lokal. Mantap semua pada local pride ya guys. Bagus. Bagus semua pada local pride, bagus. Mantulita. Ntar gua update di IG dulu ya, satu lagi.
You can expect that the baby alien Fanny Albert will be going wherever he can find Oheb or Haji. I mean, even Oh My Venus.
I mean, it's a good pick if you want to try and kite back, have a bit more self-protection, right, on that marksman role that's usually very vulnerable. But now that means that for RRQ, they can count on the fact that there's very limited amount of DPS coming in from the side of Blacklist. They have burst damage, so pick up potential, but in the longer drawn-out fights, this Hilda might just be too beefy to win.
RRQ dong, mantap.
By Blacklist.
Kita lihat dari banning pass-nya, Albert dikasih Pani ya guys ya. Kok ada link nggak dibuka ya linknya? Joy Paramek. Wow. Kiri oke, kanan juga oke, tapi Estes dikasih ke Omaifi ya, bahaya juga ya. Mau ngamanin game pertama kah? This is it, everybody. Game number 1 antara RRQ Hoshi antara RRQ Hoshi melawan Blacklist International di channel TAKO Ranger. Let's go.
Win the lane. It is usually the Fanny that wins the mid lane by playing aggressive in the mid lane very early on.
So a lot on the shoulders of the baby alien.
Yeah, man.
Amat, ayo masuk dong ke gamenya anjing. Gue udah ini bikin bot aja kalau DC buat notifikasi pas live lu. Oh bisa emang ada, nanti gue cari deh caranya. Oke, terima kasih infonya Bang Snow. Terima kasih, nanti gue cari caranya ya. Ada di YouTube kan? Let's go to the land of down. Game number 1 antara bangsat di paus anjing.
Let's make sure that our athletes get the best experience first. We'll need to unlock the kinks in this competition. Gives us time though to digest.
Baru mau mulai anjing. Udah paus gaming. Belum mulai udah paus gaming coy. Bang, ikut dong. Waduh, welcome to the TAKO Club, the Poltase, the Standard, the Coklat Mamen. Welcome. Dukung siapa Poltase? Jelas Blacklist kan? Ini ada pendukung Blacklist masuk ke sini, bro. Biar lu kagak capek ngasih tau via HP. Oke, siap, nanti gua cari tahu ya. Buset, Baimong mencoba mengambil ranah e-sport anjing setelah Citayam. Si Baimong mau ngambil ranah e-sport anjing.
Talk to me more about how maybe it's on the Fanny this time to help win that mid lane, because that's a main artery. What's that going to mean for Blacklist International if it does work out?
So I feel like right now Blacklist
gue bikin polling aja nih. Jelas RRQ raw anjing, RRQ raw lu diserang lu sama ini. Kita start poll.
I feel like Blacklist should prioritize protecting the far side because I think the feather airstrike
Siapa yang menang?
your early games. When Brody, no offense to Ohab, right? All his role is just to push down turrets, and Blacklist, on the other hand, doesn't have a lot of kill pressure. So maybe that's what Blacklist needs to go. However, from the side of RRQ, Fanny should attack that far side.
Isi dulu pollnya, Pollingnya diisi dulu, brother. Lu kan pendukung IPOS. Emang gue pendukung IPOS. Nanti IPOS main abis ini. Tenang. Wah, Tokyo ya itu ya? Apa siapa anjing? Waduh, brutal juga tuh. Anjing ada Patin juga bangsat. Artis-artis mulai masuk ke Irana e-sport anjing. Kalau semua diambil artis kita makan apa bangsat? Semua artis. Gue kapan terkenalnya nge-input. Iri banget ya jiwanya, jiwa iri. Kamu dilarang menang, tuan rumah harus juara, let's go. Final Battle Royale. Ini kadang-kadang yang gua nggak seneng sama fans Indo nih gini, terlalu overconfidence gitu loh. Lihat fans Filipina santai, cakep tuh. Anjing. Paus ngemput kan streamernya jadi garing anjing kalau ngepaus gaming bangsat gaming gitu. Gua ngapain di sini bakar rokok?
And we haven't really been
talking about mulailah. Mulai,
the gold laner for RRQ Hoshi. Very good friends with his counterpart.
Ngapain kita ngeliatin Skyler sama Oheb? Langsung main anjing. Lama banget paus gaming. Indonesia Pride. Philippine. I am Philippine. Oh my fee. Gue takut diserang tapi. Gak, gue RRQ, gue RRQ bro. Albert, I love you. Mana ini lama bener paus kambing. Udah mulai pakai meta paus anjing.
I feel like Arashi, this is the stats that I like to see if this is my gold laner, right? I have a higher KDA, but with a lower GPM.
Bahas Filipin dong, anjing jangan nggak berani gua, takut bro. RRQ bro, RRQ di hati, selalu RRQ. Skyler, I love you, the best gold laner. Siapa lagi nanti yang muncul nih?
So I think in this player head-to-head, I'm leaning towards Skyler.
And Skyler on the hero like Claude allows for that. It's faster rotation compared to the Brody. It's much easier for him to be part of fights as he should be, because again we're expecting
di barisan depan bersama Baimong. TAKO Wong namanya jadi anjing, TAKO Wong.
We're mere moments away from getting back
TAKO Wong.
into the action.
80.000 di mana ya kalau yang 80.000 ya?
Semua, for everyone here in Tennis Indoor Senayan for being patient with us. Because again, just as like everyone, even those watching at home, we want to see this bout. We want to see this maybe go all the way.
Sudah merambah ke mama. Gua mau nonton di MLBB aja lah. Anjing ngapain, apa bedanya di MLBB? Nggak seru, casternya bro, nggak seru kayak gua. Casternya garing, si bangsat. Di sana juga di pause anjing. Gak di gua doang, di sana juga pause. Emang gua di sini di pause, di sono main kan kagak, bangsat.
Not a lot of instantaneous ways to stop Albert, and that could be dangerous. And oh, the crowd is feeling it. Oh, the spirit. I'd love to see the agents get in on it like the Kingdom are. There's no wonder that even RRQ Akira, in their opening year under that banner, just have fallen in love with the Kingdom with this kind of energy.
Yeah, it's just crazy, right? On home turf, I think.
Salute, jangan lupa skripsi bro,
Yes. But there's also, I would say, an equal amount of pressure for RRQ themselves. Can you imagine?
Lagi kenapa kagak dites dulu ya sebelum game ya? Anjing 1 menit 2 menit lagi ngoceh-ngoceh lagi baru.
Cause back home.
Biasa Anda dah pause mulu bangsat lah.
When we play,
oh my V bro, oh my V ketutupan gua tapi di bawah di kanan ketutupan gua. Anjing gua jadi timnas Filipina ceritanya. Oh my Venus, KDA gua tuh 6,6, kill participation gua 7,8 ya kan. Damage per time-nya tuh anjing. Oh my TAKO jelas kanan. Pemain Filipina, oh dia posisinya gini. Ini posisinya Mbappe.
Damage taken per minute definitely heavily leaning over to Vin. So I think it's just the contrast
Blacklist International
kind of Rome. A support versus a
hero signature Estes. Oh my V, oh my TAKO, oh my T.
A lot of supportive roamers.
Jadi berasa pro player buat tuh. Jersey udah hitam sama Blacklist. Main timnas Filipina tuh.
But of course I think Vin is also very crafty with how he likes to engage fights.
Estes dilepas, dia pun bertindak.
To just go for a big fight and just surprise their opponents completely. We've seen it again and again. And of course, some people might say, oh, he hasn't been doing it recently. But there's nothing to say that he cannot do it today, right now.
And again, it's just the fact that the KDA is much lower.
Indonesia!
Because when Oh My Venus falls,
Indonesia!
all the other cards
Indonesia!
get laid out as well. And
Indonesia!
so how the Ube strategy works.
Indonesia!
This is a hot topic, right? We're talking about the King's final gambit. It's also the Queen's.
Filipina, paus, Filipina, paus.
It's really hard to climb back out. But as well, King is the one that kind of ends the game. But still, the value of this Queen may be the
King final gambit maksudnya
sword of Blacklist International.
So you're saying it's a Royal Rumble right now, Jace?
It is a Royal Rumble in the Foreign Empire.
In the what?
In
the what? Empire.
Waduh, Filipin, Kapung Kap, Filipinos.
Boy, oh boy.
Filipinos, subscribe channel TAKO Filipinos. Waduh, Filipinos.
I'd like to thank everyone who's staying with us, everyone patient.
Filipinos, subscribe channel TAKO Filipinos.
Number 1, RRQ Hoshi.
Dewu ketawa-tawa Dewu.
International, eyes on the early road.
This is it. Welcome to the land of done. Game number 1. RRQ versus Blacklist International.
Of course, on that Hilda, we'll be attempting to try and get a bit more balance.
Let's go.
Abusing that passive coming in from the Hilda.
Diawali dengan Wise yang ngambil purple buff. Begitu juga Albert. Purple buff, tidak ada gangguan dari Hilda. Karena ada Ecstasy di situ.
Something as I mentioned as well, All My Venus will need to stay around the mid lane, need to make sure that Haji gets to level 4 as quickly as possible.
And for the first minute, 45 seconds, I'd say Vin could be a little more aggressive.
Nah, kan bener kan harus lebih agresif bener, tapi ada Estes bro. Tercounter dengan ada Estes.
The much faster Albert can come in and try to contest.
Mati nih, Vin. Masuk lagi mati, mau dia langsung. Tidak akan dilepas Wise oleh OMIV. Tidak akan dilepas.
And being on a Fredrin, he can hold his own 1v1.
Yep, I mean the best part about why he's going for the Fredrin jungler is that he's unfazed about the damage coming up from Vin. And not only just that, because all my Venus is sticking around the mid lane, it's a lot of heal, but hold on a second, Albert's already spinning over.
Waduh. First blood! The queen is down, everybody! The queen is down! First blood!
500 gold, but that's what you do with a lineup like this.
We thought that the target was going to be Haji. It is Oh My Venus. Bursted even through the ages. That is unreal.
Ecstasy emang awal-awal begitu, belum ada healnya.
It's not even level 4.
Yep, something to note, we didn't see this in the prep or the draft going into this. A battle spell we rarely see in game, at least in the professional scene. Yes, indeed, folks, that is Oh My Venus on the Aegis. Oh, something down bottom here.
Wah, Haji pakai Parsha baru gua. Bapak Haji pakai Parsha dan bersama Clyde Pudin menggunakan Paramek yang ada di river, di daerah river. Waduh. Berat bro, berat bro, masalahnya high ground bro.
And that's RRQ with a man down.
Ambil Parsha bro, berat bro.
As they start this first turtle.
Yes, Edward.
Berat bro.
He's actually putting a lot of pressure.
High groundnya kenceng bro, Parsha bro.
Oh no, Edward just managed to push.
Kalau ada flame shoot modar itu langsung.
That's absolutely fantastic.
RRQ still trying to get something back. Edward is the main target here.
Ini final kecepatan sih kayaknya kalau menurut gua.
Inside the brush as well, but he's able to cable away. Blacklist International destabilized, but RRQ on the other hand, they're not taking prisoners.
Buset, dimajuin sama Wise.
Gox! Albert is the one that needs to back off.
Waduh, Federal Strike nyaris sekali membunuh Albert.
I think Wise actually stole the orange.
Yes,
Albert berebet.
Looking at the board here, Blacklist have gotten a small lead. Again, 3 minutes and a half. We're about 1 minute and 15 from that next turtle. Again, let's talk about the emblems here, because again, even the battle spells have gotten already pretty tricky. Rashi, talk us through.
I mean, look at all that movement speed being prioritized. Rotations. That is what both these teams like to use to get an advantage. And unfortunately for RRQ, early on in this game, I don't think Faramis Cult Altar can give you that much value because you don't have the same amount of damage that you can dish back out. Whereas for Blacklist, having Haji on that Farsa just allows them to just destroy RRQ when they're clumping up in the jungle earlier. So they need to wait for a bit more power spikes to ensure that, aside from having a second life, they have the damage to back it up as well.
Yeah, and already they look at RRQ are off tempo. It seems like Blacklist response to this hyper aggression in mid has found its match. Wise gets pulled very precariously because again, bigger presence from RRQ here in the mid, but Turtle is spawning in the top side.
Bro die sakit sekali. Ya, kita lihat di sini ada Hilda. 1 versus 4, apakah bisa? Oh enggak. Bisa kabur maksudnya. Bisa. Kabur bisa.
Global map presence of Oh My Venus is there, even with Albert's Fanny wasn't able to match.
This is why it's just so difficult. RRQ, they want to go for pickoffs, they want to abuse Albert on that Fanny with that early game damage, but when Blacklist clump together, fight together as a team, they have the Faramis as a quote-unquote counter, but it's not working right now.
The Fed air strike will be able to land from
Anjir! Peseng. Yang ada di game ini peseng.
It's only R7 first to the scene.
R7 zipping around.
Waduh, nggak bisa. Si Albert mancing Feather Ice Strike bro tadi bro, biar nggak ada high groundnya. Tapi masih dapet alternnya si Wise, gila. Oh bahaya Edward. Mati si Edward. Bisa begitu pro player bro.
A long form arm trade there by Agent Zero, buying time, buying map space for Blacklist International, keeping that fumble in, I guess,
bisa
recoverable
begitu
space,
masih
and they push
ngebunuh
down
3 lawan 1
Arashi, how
anjing.
did Blacklist recover?
GG
They
Gimang,
were
bro.
able to actually buy so much time in that fight, and their members were able to come back from the fight despite being taken out earlier on due to the big combo from RRQ. This is what RRQ needs to be very careful about. They have a lot of damage, but they need to make sure that they do not allow Blacklist to have multiple rotations of their ultimates.
Finn managed to catch All My Venus, has to pop the ultimate for now. It's gonna be All My Venus again. She's gonna do all the, but here comes Alpha for the assassination. He finds the queen.
Gak bisa, belum bisa, bro. Belum bisa, Estes jam segini mah. Jadi
Arashi,
belum.
Oh My Venus, third death away. Be Wise, of course. If you take down Be Wise, is gonna respond. Oh, they're looking for something.
He's trying to look for something. Skylar will be able to beat MI all the way out. Edward, I don't think there's any kills for now they can do. Blacklist, they managed to stabilize for now.
Arashi, talk to me.
It's so dangerous right now, man. RRQ, I think once they have a bit more items, they can start being a lot more menacing to Edward, to Oh My Venus, and
Jungle
Wise. This is
dimakanin
what we've
mulu
seen
tapi.
again and again.
Sama
Very
si
solid
Wise.
damage dealers from back far away, and 3 very solid tanky members in the front. This is what Blacklist is working with right now, and unless RRQ has the right items, for now, Blacklist still has the advantage. They can still bully RRQ away from the objectives.
Yep, but it's gonna be Bin that engages all the way first. Stay coming in, but it's gonna be Edward. Oh no, he stops Albert right now. It's gonna be Retrovato, but it is wall.
Vinnya ngapain ya?
And now, then there's gonna
Maksud
be
gua ngapain dia buka di situ ya?
All the way in the back line, looking at Edward. He's actually super tanky right now. The bench is the pop. Wise going in, the better extra going in. R7 needs to run away, and he managed to run away from the artillery strikes.
Bahaya bro, Indo tuh terlalu gitu dan gak objektif mainnya cuy.
Was looking for maybe 2 or 3 minutes
Hilda yang
ago.
ngapain tadi
That's
buka
what they
duluan
wanted to
deh.
do in that other turtle up top, and now they're able to finally execute.
They're able to pick off a win in that jungle fight. And afterwards, you can see that everyone
mulai beda
just jumps
seceng
on the
kan.
opportunity.
Gila.
RRQ, they're
Padahal power Ravannya harusnya di jam-jam
But
segini.
now that Skylar has the golden staff, it's gonna be something that Blacklist needs to keep in mind, right? They are working against the clock right now.
And with this 1,000 gold lead, their stats against Indonesian teams in M4 are looking a little better, right? The small lead in the mid game, 8 minutes in, 1,000 gold ahead. They're currently sitting at 0-6 against Indonesian teams. Their fate may change right here.
They have a chance to just turn it around, but look at this
Waduh.
EXP lane. It's just constant battling, and keep in mind, R7 was able to be so tanky there due to that vengeance. This will be a lot
Anjing
more
feseng
annoying
banget
the
ya.
longer the game goes.
2, 1, itu burung, 2, 1 burung anjing.
Sustain items is going to be near impossible for Blacklist to try and kill him without locking him down.
Yeah, blocking down, I think from the
Apa loading apa lo? Rijale, welcome to the TAKO Universe Rijale. Ini ada Estes Hiroru Rijale. Wah anjing kalah war cuy, Blacklist cuy.
slowly take down Blacklist. It's gonna be just Wise. He gotta be just Edward. And now Skylar, he gets caught by BMI out. R7 on the chase right here. Wise looking a bit low. Edward just trying to fail.
Whoa.
And then he will try to
Gila,
possess.
bisa begitu.
Going in this basement. He got on top of R7. It's
Mati
just
si R7.
slow.
Gila.
Joy.
Agent Zero
Edward,
gets
bro.
his man. Down goes R7. Something tells me, as we get more into the late game, there will be a cap. There will be a limit for RRQ's aggression, and then more and more Blacklist can
benar.
find their way into this game. 10 minutes in.
The longer the game goes, the more healing All My Venus will have.
Emang loading, kagak loading anjing, emang loading bro.
So it's gonna be a bit of a balance. It all comes down to execution.
Bener lu mah.
That duet was just so devastating.
Mana
And
kagak
if
loading.
Blacklist keep coming together, that's dangerous.
Albert coming in, would not be able to do the
Agak
rest of the
loading,
battle. Albert
anjing.
needs to tap out for now. It's going to be Blacklist going to be engaging on top of RRQ for now. It's going to be Ben and first of all the
Nggak
hard
bisa,
team.
bro.
The
Estesnya
kill coming in,
powernya
Ben
makin
to
tinggi,
save
bro.
for Blacklist to fight.
Ngentoy. Kenapa loading anjing gara-gara Rijale ini?
Down goes the M Series all-timer who hit his 500th assist.
Woi. What the fuck, bro?
In the M Series overall win, sitting at 0, 5,
Ada.
and 5. Hilda's doing its work, right?
Kenapa jadi loading? Chat unavailable. Kata siapa chat is unavailable? Itu bisa, bro. Ini doang ini. Kenapa jadi loading ada lu.
Looking at its items, he has physical defense in Terimakasih. He's building up towards magic defense. But I say, against Blacklist International, you're really only building against Oheb for physical. What's going on here?
We're gonna make sure that their main pick-off to right now we cannot use it.
Right, Nobar gets deleted.
Masih
Right
mau
on the
ngambil
match, tries to
biru
get this purple
gitu
buff.
loh.
That's not a good timing for RRQ.
Arashi, back to the point.
Back to the point, man. The perfect memory is the main tool they're using right now. They're actually getting ready to deal with, but R7 is trying to deal with the whole team.
Blacklist ini kayak udah punya formulanya gitu loh kalau lawan Indo, bro. Bro.
Oh, they pull that way! And the split comes in right on time. The baby alien has to respond to the lane up top, and just like that, 11 and a half minutes in, 5K gold lead, Blacks International turning the map red.
It's such a chaotic game, but at the end of the day, Blacklist are the ones with the map pressure advantage.
Kayak udah punya formulanya gitu loh lawan tim Indo versus Blacklist ini anjing. Tapi kalau menurut gua emang hero early semua kiri, cu. Cuma ngandelin Cloud sama Paramis. Paramis sudah nggak terlalu OP padahal.
Just going in alone, but afterwards, Vin was able to locate Haji in the midst of all the chaos. Unfortunately though, it's all traded in for several turrets in the process.
Every single time, if it's Vin for Haji, that's worth it for RRQ Hoshi. But if R7 has to come along,
Gila,
that
birunya
bundle
dimakan
package is
lagi,
way
berat
too
udah.
much.
Yeah, the burst damage is something that Vin has to be careful about.
Berat, bro. Masalahnya
Not a real
kanan.
manipulation mind.
Estes Parsia makin gila, bro. Estes,
Just looking at the items, Arashi, I just noticed, man, the 4K gold
Masih,
lead, you can see
baby.
a lot of it on the junglers. You can see it on Albert, you can see it on
masalahnya
Rise. There's
kanan
almost, what,
hero-hero led semua
1,500,
anjing.
2,000 in between them.
Asik sih pengamat ML. Yo, jelas. Kalau nonton nggak ngerti kan garing, bro. Yang nonton juga, bro. Ini harus
Scary
yang
jungle
ini
for
harus
RRQ to
ngerti.
be in.
This is the traps you were talking about with that vision game. But look at the split push coming in from RRQ. They're trying to find value despite being on the back foot.
Berat yang harus dilakuin.
On the point of items, there is a lack of endurance
Alah,
over the rush.
harus dilakuin agak berat.
Play by Blacklist. This is just going for the base.
Better airstrike will be used to zone on RRQ right now. Albert's trying to
Udah
make a
berempat
play.
mulu,
He has to
Blacklist
recall
udah kalau
back
kayak
base
gini.
for now. It's gonna be Skylar. Oh no, he gets taunted by Wise, and that would be a monster
Gila,
kill.
masih
Give it up
bisa
to the
nge-kill
Blacklist
Fanny.
jungler. And Blacklist
begitu.
right now, they were in zone to fight. What can you do when you don't have a damage dealer? Wise will say, no more claim.
1-4-1, Skylar
Udah
for
mati
Haji.
hero alert semua,
And
nggak
just
ada high
like that,
ground-nya.
Blacklist makes a beeline for the
Kocak
Lord.
grafiknya
Arashi can
emang.
RRQ contest.
Without Skylar, it's going to be a very tough process. He is the main damage dealer for the BPM members. Unless they can pick up Oheb or Haji, it's going to be very, very difficult. But Albert seems to be trying to make an attempt.
Vin, just check in, and just like that, Blacklist lets
Gila,
go.
objektif
It
Black,
looks like they want to
Philippines.
make sure that it's a clean go. They want
Nah,
a full
dilanjutin
maybe
lotnya, bro.
3v5, 2v5 if they
Iya,
can.
Bang, makan bah
But with the way
birunya.
RRQ Hoshi are finding Haji
Gila.
and threatening
Ngeluarin
to kill
ulti
on
nih,
Oh My
bisa
Venus,
ngeluarin
it's not
ulti
so
nih.
easy.
It's not really easy at all. Skylar could just BMI right in and all
Ngepat
trying
dari
to
situ.
blazing duet, but then there's the menace, right? Oh my Venus, it's the thorn against RRQ side.
This is the difficult part as well. Blacklist, they are content just trading out damage because they have Oh My Venus on the Estes. They can allow
Kalau ada yang pakai Estes, beli Oracle, bray.
The same thing cannot be said for RRQ. We have to rely on a cult altar.
Gila,
Right?
dia
A
makin
more
kenceng buat lu.
decisive use of an ultimate to try and gain advantage. Vin can sustain with the shield and the healing coming in from the passive, but it's 1 compared to 5. And for Blacklist right now, they have all the map pressure in the world to work with as well. But right now, Albert is the one that's far away from this Lord. They might just rush it.
Different airstrike going in at the same time. It's going to be the Lord that will be forgotten about both of these two teams. The call already committed, but then the damage coming out from Clay. And R7 will be able to fight
Nggak
back by
kecepatan.
zoning everything away.
Parsia
Wise will be
kecepatan.
down, trying to actually do something, but he won't be able to do anything for now. R7 trying to tip his hand. The ultimate was already
Jangan, baik. Lah.
He coming for the assassination. And that's the jungler gone. The jungler advantage going to RRQ.
Oheb for Vin was a good trade, but
Oh,
now it's
Skylar.
all going
Gila.
down.
No, that's not a very good sign. RRQ does have the retribution battle right now. Stop the Blacklist trying to make something happen. They need to try to land the retribution at the very, very right time. He has the retribution, and he
Hati
gets
tapi.
the Lord.
The baby alien scores it, and you hear the kingdom roar. RRQ running away. Edward and Oh My Venus.
Kenapa pakai Paramis ya kurang hero poke? Iya, kurang bukan poke, bukan kurang poke lagi.
Still with a small lead, but
Kurang high ground, bro.
She scores a luminous lord.
Kayaknya di band deh YV-nya deh.
And man, the building literally was shaking.
Tapi maksud gue daripada Paramis ya, mending Lilia. Ngapain ngambil Paramis? Kalau bukan Romer.
They will be able to secure that buff Now we have a bit of downtime, and let's talk a bit of the items yet again. Glowing ones have been purchased by the side of RRQ, knowing that there's just way too many big dudes on the side of Blacklist International. But on the other hand, look at Haji. That's a lot of burst damage, Divine Glaive as well, and with the truncheon, there's a potential for an outplay to happen here. RRQ need to be very careful in calculating how long the cooldown is on that item.
Oh, I think they have eyes on where Edward is. Haji pops the Feathered Air Strike, pushing away.
Brodai, sakit.
And this is what's so hard when you're Blacks International, right? You have to manage the waves because Albert's much faster than a majority of you. And then now you have to play honest. So far, Blacklist International have kept a small lead, but now RRQ Hoshi, they've done so well to recover. The map is blue.
I think it's the other way around. It's RRQ that's a little bit behind his goalie. They actually slowly claw all the way back, but it's going to be R7 getting a bit of damage for here. Wise in the thick of things. It's going to be all my minutes slowly healing up. Wise. Blacklist International, they defended their throne for now.
This is the limitation of this team composition. Sure, it's a lot of damage. Sure, in
bisa dapetin rock di detik 15 dengan darah sekarang itu emang orang gila sebenarnya Albert ini.
And there is no marksman to try and whittle down these turrets. So RRQ will be
kalau gue boleh berkomentar, playernya sih keren kalau menurut gue.
And then using the Lord to try
and makin sayang Albert dia, RRQ Kingdom juga. Salah grafiknya mulu sih kalau menurut gue. Indo tuh kadang-kadang aneh gitu.
To try and punish RRQ.
Wise playing with fire. R7 comes in.
R7, Haji has to fly away, but it's going to be R7. Activated out in his way. He's all the way in the back line. He's all alone. Managed to touch go out there just in time, but it's going to be my is actually desperately healing. The fight is using the mid lane. It's Elven fighting. They get taunted. Wise, unstoppable, unkillable. Scala and Stella. Haji managed to take down Elven.
War apa itu bro? Gak ada. Wah!
Oh, is there to start.
Gila. Ini baru game bro. Dari kemarin aku tidak nonton yang seperti ini, asuh.
Albert 30 seconds away from spawning. Can he make it to this Lord fight? Are they going to start it immediately?
Gila.
They can just go for it if they really want to try.
Parsia mau mati di skill 1. Mau mati lagi di ulti. Set. Joy mau mati di ulti. Clay. Kelas. Ini bener cocok world class ini. Dan ngambil Brody bener sih. Ini ngambil Brody beres.
That's permanent damage in mid, something that RRQ constantly have to tend to, and that's what Black is avoiding. That's why they sent Edward back home. That's why Haji's paying attention to top lane, and Lord is a clean 5v5.
I think RRQ just need to execute the fights cleaner here, because earlier there's a lot of burst damage, there's a lot of potential, but when you funnel in one by one like that, it allows.
Tuh kadang nih ya, di mereka nih suka nggak belajarnya apa? Ngebet doang, padahal si Blacklist ini itu.
The Faramis as well as the Claude.
Padahal ngebet doang nih, tapi nanti di all in gitu loh.
One of them will pull through and be the deciding factor for RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah,
so they have to be very careful.
Something tells me there has to be some specific way of cascading your skills for RRQ Hoshi to get it right. Now, Vin trying his luck. R7 coming in with an angle.
Vin eventually wants to fight as well. The counter activated at the same time. Haji trying to provide some high ground, some protection for Blacklist International. They shove RRQ out of the team fight.
Gila deras banget darahnya si Estes.
Now Edward on R7. Let's see the relentless one, not letting go. Team captain always pushing forward, leading with boots on the ground. This joy, 4-4-6. That is the KD of a true warrior. R7 wants to force the issue. And look at that wave down bottom.
It's a huge wave, and R7 is pushing it out again, but Blacklist react almost instantly. R7 can flank right here.
Nah, Haji.
A lot of damage available.
Vin will be the
Awas Haji.
It is going to be the giant going in the back line. Oh my Venus.
Oh my Venus, kenapa tidak dibuka ultinya cooldown ya? Tuh, mereka tega bro, udah ditinggal langsung lihat Wise-nya. Tinggal udah.
That was the exact order that they were trying to pull through the past 5-6 minutes.
That's it.
And now RRQ are threatening an inhibitor push.
Di-push ini. Di-push N, GG ya nih, udah ini N. Di-push ini. Gila Fanny-nya di. Fanny gelo bro. Gila buying time bro. Gila nggak dia heroin. Nice. Indo RRQ RRQ, Indo,
Draw first blood.
Indo, RRQ, Indo.
1-0 in a best of 5.
Dibalikin dong pas di Lord. Iya, itu di Lord itu tadi masalahnya. Tunggu.
Ladies and gentlemen, the kingdom.
Kata gue buang Inggris dulu bentar.
They ask for more.
Ya.
And just like that, we've reached an all-time high PCU for M4. That's 3.1 million viewers all around the world.
That is insane, man. I don't want to miss it. This is the match we've been talking about, and this is why. Action-packed gameplay throughout the whole game, and even then, you can still see the adaptations, the itemizations, the tactics being displayed by both these teams.
Let me tell you how close this match is. For like good whole 10 minutes, the goal lead is like what, in the 3 figures. After a while, Blacklist gained like 2.4k gold lead or something like that. And then RRQ, they found the right moment to scale out of control.
And again, these two teams have been problems.
Plot twist parah ini. Ini terlalu ngambil enteng nih si Blacklist. Tapi GG juga. Bukan berarti RRQ-nya nggak GG, bro. Tapi GG. Kita harus big applause kepada RRQ. Nice game.
Pushing forward constantly. And yes, they found Skylar several times, but in the end, all it took was one wipeout. The 1v5 was almost gonna work, but that was what, 3 or 4 seconds short.
It's such a tough situation, man. And again, this shows again the power of being the aggressor, being the proactive one in an engagement. Because several times, even in the last team fight, Haji didn't even get to pop his winter truncheon. Everything happened so fast. And when you are one initiating,
mantap.
You have a measure of.
Kalian semua isinya parah ya, tapi keren sih warnya. Tatar, gue ngambil es manis dulu ya, es manis bentar aja. Mohon maaf Bang Snow, bentar.
They are thirsting for more. I wish we could just go ahead and start the game almost immediately, but our teams, Blacks International and RRQ, have to go back, have to reset, and more is on the shoulders of Blacklist. They lost game 1. Let's talk about Battle Night, though. It goes live this January 21st. Expect loads of events and awards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in-game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. You can choose the skin you like most from the chest. Aside from that, battle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches and you'll get team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double EXP, and double BP for 5 matches. We're not stopping there. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that very same day. Save the date. Log into the game on January 21st. Enjoy the match and win tons of rewards. Let's all celebrate the M4 Championship together. Call your friends. Now, with that being said, I think it's going to take very, very specific minds, very smart minds to break down exactly how Blacklist can come back or how RRQ can just push the advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Arashi and Jays, my name is Leo. Let's go to the analysts.
Thank you very much, casters, and 3.17 million viewers worldwide witness RRQ Hoshi drawing first blood against Blacklist International. Welcome to the analyst stand with me, Lapel, Naisu, Estrex, and gentlemen, let's start things off quick. Initial thoughts about the game.
I mean, RQ brought a very scrappy guerrilla warfare type of style to that game, and today they were able to break the defense of Blacklist.
I gotta say, man, that R7, amazing game. The joy and side lane with the vengeance, really hard to deal with, and that's kind of the trend we've been seeing here. That teams that decide to place joy in that side XP lane, and that was a question.
Kita nungguin ngapain ya ini ya?
Well, I feel like now you
Kita
can say that.
nungguinnya mainin aja deh.
Talking about the joy, let's look at atomization as well as the draft, because the draft is actually very interesting. Where Blacklist International, the way that they drafted kind of counters what Albert wants to do.
Bisa nggak ya double gitu?
And Oh My Venus with the Aegis is preventing the burst. But RQ still one tricks.
I mean, something to really point out here, Clay with a full damage build here. Not only that, R7 as well, building a decent amount of damage, even some penetration there. And I mean, this is the thing. They were able to just shred through that typical Blacklist bulkiness, and they were able to build this much damage because of Clay with that Cult Altar. Gave them just enough survivability to be able to last long against Wise and against Venus.
I think just the fact that Albert, the way he played the Fanny here, he started off strong, built that momentum, and as the game went on, everybody else was doing for him, and Albert kind of just swept in and was able to capitalize on a lot of those kills, and kind of that was the trend for them. And at the same time, at some point, even though you have the Estes, that signature pick there for Blacklist International, it just wasn't enough. And then there's so much chaos when you're talking about, I think they had, what, 2 sprints on the side for RRQ, and that was really hard because you saw that last team fight where things just kind of sandwiched in.
Yeah, looking at the stats, we can definitely see in terms of team fights, Blacklist International actually did a lot because the carry sandbag as well as the forgotten one is for Blacklist. So my being a 7 total assists, Wise 253,000 damage taken, and Ohab dealing 110,000. But looking at how it's been done, it looks like RRQ, they dealt enough damage to deal with whatever Blacklist has for them.
I think something very important to point out here, though, is Skylar being the rich.
Bahaya nih, meta pause bisa keluar nih, meta pause.
Of course,
Meta pause.
right? But towards the end game, it started to shift to Blacklist, but eventually Skylar comes online and is the determining factor in that final shred. And I mean, as a whole team, we saw the team fight participation. They all did a great job.
Honestly, talking about Skylar as well, something we didn't talk about is the corrosion side on the Claude. But before we talk about that, we gotta look at our MVP, where honestly, anyone from RRQ deserves the most valuable player. But here, we gotta call for R7, the MVP with the EXP lane Joy.
Joy-nya bahaya sih emang. Backline mulu
What
Joy-nya.
about his MVP performance?
Again, man, this was a crucial component to their success because, like Trex mentioned, there was a point where Blacklist International had a great lead. I mean, they almost had a point where they could have marched into the base of RRQ here, but R7, the fact that he was able to create chaos in the back line of Blacklist International is really hard for them to deal with. And then again, you have just a lot being thrown at Blacklist International, not just that Joy there.
Tapi baru diliatin di sini ya, apa Joy-nya si R7 ya, ditahan berarti buat lawan Blacklist. Gox.
This crucial part of the game, that mid game into transitioning into late game to allow that chaos, and then like Trex mentioned, when you have that Claude online, it's really devastating.
Yeah, the Hitman is very interesting because we got to talk about 5 minutes going into 10 minutes because R7 was the determining factor of changing the pace back to RRQ's favor, because in the early stage of the game, RRQ tried really hard to engage against Blacklist International, and Blacklist won that one. But during the turtle fight, R7, again, just zipping around everywhere, being very tanky and dealing a lot of damage. And I kind of feel like at least half the damage is from the Vengeance alone, really changed everything. Without R7 showing crazy mechanics on the Joy, I doubt RRQ Hoshi would have won that match.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every player just played it textbook, and from the beginning, this is about, what, 5 minutes in right here, we already see how R7 able to get into that back line, and if Albert can't finish it, R7 will, picking up that kill on Ohab, another one goes on to Albert. I mean, all around able to spread that kill distribution and make sure everyone gets their items in.
I mean, that's the thing we're seeing, right? There was a very tanky, sustainable lineup that Blacklist International had, and RRQ knew that. And as they transitioned the game, it was like they were whittling down those health bars. They were getting through that armor, that kind of front line, and things just started to fall in place for them time after time.
Looking at the highlight, I want everyone to pay attention because Blacklist International as well as RRQ Hoshi both had amazing drafts. And honestly, both drafts kind of counter each other. So in this best of 5, it looks like what we got to look out for is definitely the execution, because RRQ Hoshi should not win against Blacklist International lineup because they're denying the win condition from RRQ, and yet they played around it because, sure, you guys can sustain, you guys can heal a lot with the S's, but as long as we wait it out and we re-engage, they could deal the best. So I kind of feel like in all of the best of 5s, we got to look at how the team fight is approached.
I mean, today I feel like the unstoppable force met the immovable object. Right now, the unstoppable force is winning one game.
Moving forward, game number 2. Will Blacklist International answer back with a victory, or RRQ Hoshi will continue? Trex, Naisu, Lafel.
Mute dulu, mute. Jangan di mute.
I hope you folks are ready for another 20 minutes. Maybe even more.
Kita main Marvel Snap dulu ya, nggak sih? Tapi tidak apa-apa, gue tidak takut. Mampus gue kunci lu di sini, hah? Mampus. Mampus. Anjing terjun di situ, babi. Ih. Bisa sih, masih bisa sih ini. Masih bisa. Apa dia naruh apa? Oh, dia -1. Kita bingungin dia dengan gini aja kali ya. Jadi dia mikir kita masih mau melanjutkan, padahal kita tepu dia. Nah, tapi gua nggak pede 5 sih. Nah, kan. Toy 7 doang anjing. Oke. Perawalan yang buruk. Apakah collector token shop-nya jelek? Wah, Warpath bisa dinaikin nih. Wah, Warpath Profesor X bisa dinaikin nih. Ding.
Shiny logo.
Bismillah. Ya Allah. Kurang. Oh, udah banning pass. Ini dulu satu-satu. Cosmo naik. Namor kurang. Profesor X berapa? 200. Kasken. Tiga lagi. Beres. Cabut dulu.
their pockets are. Coach Arcadia, Coach Achil.
You know, Leo, it feels like we're watching a rematch from game 1, right? Like the fact that Blacklist has already drafted exactly the same
Lah
thing.
anjing ambil yang sama di kanan gimana dah?
Right, Leo? But Arashi, looking at the draft coming up from RRQ, are you expecting something like a Fanny to come back up again? But I think it's up to Blacklist International to ban that Fanny away.
I feel like if Blacklist does not secure any particular counter to these mobility heroes, there's no reason why RRQ cannot pick up another assassin. It worked so well, especially because Blacklist is just so reliant on that backline, as we mentioned before. So they've banned away the Joy. If they don't ban out the other potential assassins from Albert, like the Fanny for example, or maybe a Hayabusa, there's really no reason at all.
Antara Hayabusa atau Link lepas berarti ya?
What happened in game number 1, Blacklist will try and get some stuns, some locks to ensure that Albert gets under control.
At this point, it's not even up to RRQ anymore. This is Blacklist making the right calls to try and make up for what happened in game 1. This is what they do. They constantly try to push a strategy until it doesn't work, until it's over, and hoping that it doesn't come to match point because again, somebody tries the same thing over and over again, and now at least they're making these adjustments, right? They're banning out the Fanny, they banned out the Ling, which they previously did not do. It was previously a Kadita and a Harith, all the while RRQ Hoshi, they're doing the same thing here. They're taking out the Barats. Might this be the Baksha again?
I think it should be the Baksha. I mean, like, if Blacklist International is going into this game number 2 again with the exact same game 1 draft, if I were the coach, I might just go ahead and ban the Barats as well because I don't want to really have. Oh wow! Okay, they're gonna leave it. They're gonna ban Aldous instead.
Was that so clear from the get-go? Or were they so sure that? All right. I'm not sure if it's Arcadia or Achil who goes,
Haya, apakah mungkin Haya?
This is a throwback to Season 8. Take it out.
Maybe they feel like when the chips are down, Blacklist will default to something that always works, right? And this Aldous pick is just really solid. But another pick that we've seen quite often right now is that Granger as well. I wonder if that will be put to use because when you talk about kiting, there is a possibility that they will try and utilize that tool.
The Granger might not have to come up because
Fredrin
is their marksman, right? And I think
Haya nggak bisa ya, ada Estes ya.
Fredrin in the front, Estes and Farsa in the back. So I think that's where they'll adjust.
Yeah, behind every strong jungler is a strong supporter. That's basically the statement coming up from Wise and All Might Venus as well. Wise being the front line to tank all the hits, whereas All Might Venus just heal him out of control. That's basically Blacklist International strategy. That is their brand, right?
Right, and now for RRQ, they require something playmaking heavy hero. Because right now with the Lapu-Lapu and Valentina, they can try and make an engage, make a pick-off.
Iya, ke belakang mulu itu backline mulu bro.
In their arsenal, that'll be great. And the mobility for sure.
Kan? Ya udah tahu ini, si RRQ udah tahu masalahnya di Haji sebenarnya, bukan di Wise sama Venus. Di Haji bro, masalahnya.
I mean, almost synonymous with his name. Baby Alien picks up the Lancelot, and Oheb picks up the same hero. So I'm guessing now they've learned a lot from game 1. Could this be the lineup? Again, it's like a deja vu, but could this be the lineup that breaks Blacklist's losing streak against Indonesian teams at M4?
It's crazy because it's a
sama anjing hero-nya bisa begitu hero-nya. Sama hero-nya, bro.
I guess they did find moments of success and they probably feel like it's all down to execution, right? Both reflecting their quote-unquote mechanical skill. So I think Blacklist is thinking that okay, this time we won't make that mistake. We'll be more prepared. We've seen it once, right? And they'll try and match it again, but of course
let's go DCC game number 2.
Important right now. I don't think they can really afford to just go with the same draft again.
I feel like Blacklist International is just putting out a statement there. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. It's about the bans, banning away the Fanny, banning away the Ling, banning away Joy. That's something that they did going into game number 2. That's a little bit of flexibility right there, but the Lancelot game though.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be throwing over to our Bahasa counterparts as we march into the land of dawn. But for you guys watching at home, welcome. This is game 2 of Blacklist International versus RRQ Hoshi.
RRQ Hoshi. This is it. Welcome to the land of dawn. Game number 2 antara RRQ versus Blacklist International. Di mana? Aduh sorry nggak full screen. Di mana hero-nya Blacklist sama baik? Nggak usah ngepick kamera gue masih di tengah ya, goblok. Sorry.
But nowhere as oppressive as a
kamera gue masih ganggu ya.
As much mobility. So maybe Blacklist can get a bit like a foot in the door right now to ensure that in the mid game they can actually
let's go.
my Venus already using the Aegis right off the bat, but I think it should be just in time for the turtle fight, right? But it's going to be Blacklist International, right? Moving towards the gold side of the map. You want to make sure that Skylar doesn't get the farm, make sure that Oheb gets enough pushing power.
Oh, the flicker from Haji there, so that's off timing, at least for this first turtle. But then again, if game one is any indication, they're going to take their time with this turtle. I'm expecting at least maybe a purple delay play from Albert, and again, Wise is also taking his time, so we'll see if that timing falls into a place. 30 seconds until this first turtle spawns. That 1v1 between the Glue and the Lapu-Lapu, we've seen it so much here at M4 so far. I'm thinking, what's Clay to steal? Oh,
waduh.
No, I don't think there's anything you can do. Haji just go into, you know, pigeon farm, just fly away. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really
Waduh.
matter.
Waduh.
But right on the top side, you can see
Anjing Brody sih paling pas emang bener.
To try and make sure during the turtle take they have a lead, but even R7 now already.
Gila R7.
Clay gets smacked with the Appraisal's Wrath.
That damage though, I wasn't expecting that. I was
R7 kalah landing pass, bro.
Was playing with
Box.
fire there. I mean, if you were standing in front of Wise to get enough stacks to trigger Appraiser's Wrath that quickly, oh, this Lord is just free for Blacklist.
There seems to be a free Lord.
Turtle.
Oh, turtle.
We're jumping the guns right here, ladies and gents.
Exactly. Deja vu, that's what it does, right? Deja vu.
Iya
We're
benar.
at late game already. But fortunately for both teams, the jungle has been relatively safe, but I have the feeling at level 6 or 7 that is about to change. Both teams understand that in the mid game, they have their own relative weapons in this fight, right? Blacklist has sustain and RRQ has burst damage, so we'll have to see how the execution plays in, as Edward actually disrupts Albert yet again.
Oh. Haji going in for the airstrike, gets cancelled by Bin for now. It's going to be Bin that got stuck on 3 people, but Bin will not be able to survive for now. It's going to be Clay leaning up towards, I'm not sure what he's going to do, but at the same time there's a fight happening out and actually using the Phantom Execution to die on the way, but Edward will be able to follow him.
2v1 here, Agent Zero walks away with impunity. No punish from RRQ Hoshi. Blacklist already 1,000 gold ahead here, 3 minutes in. A lot of outer church shields here taken out, so that means gold.
Salah ngelepas Joy doang kayaknya tadi tuh Blacklist.
Who's gonna engage
Turu
first?
langsung.
Oh, both are skittish to do it.
Both are skittish to do it because I think both don't really have a solid engage tool. Right now, it just seems like that is the play being made by Bin.
Oh, that's a lot of damage coming up from Bin. At the same time, it's going to be, Bin is actually healing.
Anjir. Ya.
Oheb will actually try to push forward.
Lah ngapain Oheb?
He has to fall for his greediness.
The Filipino sniper gets punished hard there. Arashi, you were saying.
The Blessing of the Moon Goddess getting stolen by Clay allows them to sustain through the Federal airstrike, and afterwards it's just too much greed, but it's going to be the same story for Blacklist.
Bin, man, Bin involved. It's the same thing.
Gila digas nih. Digas
Digas,
bro. Kari digas bro.
He catches the taunt on top of Skylar, and he'll be no more. It's going to be Edward picking up a double kill at the same time. R7 coming in for the flank at the same time, but we're not able to find anything for now. Blacklist stabilizes.
It's a 5v4 situation with the second turtle spawning already.
Gila rapi banget ya. Langsung ke atas semua anjing.
Pulling it away. Arashi, is this going to be a problem? Because I'm looking at RRQ's lineup just now. I just noticed it's only Clay who's dealing magic damage.
I mean, Vartan has a lot of magic damage, but on the note of damage, that is R7 getting taken out as well. Later on, it's going to be very easy for Blacklist to itemize against RRQ. And right now, it seems that they're having problems all across the map.
I think Albert is having a lot of problems. That is not...
Kills like this, eventually the team with the better late game is going to win. And I can't help but feel that with a carry on your team, right? It's going to be very scary trying to deal with him in the late game. Of course, Haji on the far side can just zone away Skylar in these big fights, but we've seen how chaotic the fights can get. So Blacklist needs to be very careful and make sure that they don't let RRQ get anything back.
Gila 2000 bro udah.
What they can because this is Lancelot's debut. Vin, obliges.
Oh, the big burst not enough. Unfortunately, we're going Oheb will be the one that takes on Bin. Trading for the
Anjing diambil. Ultinya Estes boleh juga sih ngambil Palen.
Trying to heal up Skylar, but Edward's coming for the flank. He's looking for the food, and he's gonna go into a split. But Oheb snipes him down.
2 for 1. Oh my Venus falls. I'd say with Turtle 10 seconds away, you have Clay out of the picture here. Blacklist has an advantage.
It's a huge advantage, and now Albert, he might try and go for a flashy play. Is it worth it though? There's so much burst damage in the hands of Blacklist. It's going to be very risky for him to even try anything. He might just be forced to let it go, but Edward...
Kenapa kagak pakai skin Blacklist ya? Si Blacklist tolol.
roughly 7 minutes.
Orang lain pakai skinnya dia nggak pakai. Geblek.
RRQ have not pushed a major objective yet.
A lot of damage coming over to Edward. He's just really trying to reach his first skill at the same time. Wise Horns going in. Albert was not able to find any form of entry, but Vin may be the one to be able to do that. But at the same time, it's going to be Ohab actually take down the top side as well. Edward just really trying to go time. He goes into space as well, but runs into Edward as well. He's flying over, but not just in time. The turtle will still get secured by Blacklist, but that's not enough. R7 looking for the engage. Wise is going to be a slow little collapse coming over Blacklist international. Haji, better airstrike.
Itulah insting pemain Parsia, sama-sama pemain Parsia langsung. Ulti langsung. Dapat juga blue buff.
Yep, that's skill. That's skill.
Purple stolen by Wise, and of course
gila ngamuk bro, Blacklist bro. Iya, tadi dia kesusahan gara-gara Joy doang kayaknya. Tapi nggak tahu sih ini. Bisa jadi RRQ bisa juga kayak tadi bro. RRQ nggak bisa diremehin juga bro. Harus respect juga bro.
RRQ, they're in a difficult spot right here.
This is literally Blacklist telling me, hey,
gila.
I'm not the problem, you're the problem. I'm banning away your fanny, I'm
Gila,
banning
dia pakai emblem itu padahal ya, dia terjadi ya parsanya.
This is that statement.
Yeah, no, they've converted these Ube engages into map presence, into siege balls for Haji and Oheb. Again, the Brody has to clear waves the old natural way, right? But with Oheb, again, as you say, Ooga Booga, I wreck turrets. That's what they've been doing here, which resulted in a 6K gold lead 8 minutes in.
That's the macro play we've been talking about. RRQ, they don't only lose the objective, they lose members taken out by Blacklist, and they lose the turret on top side as well. And Blacklist are trying to push the tempo here, trying to make sure that the jungle is not safe.
The pincer in, going in for the back line at the same time. Oh, just really trying to peel, but here comes the heal coming up from play. And also, oh my goodness as well. It's going to be Haji. Right in the bad spikes. The fat actually will be able to take down the side RRQ. It's going to be Wise to take the play at the same time.
Bisa targeting kayak gitu anjing.
2 for none.
Ya.
Boy, they have eyes on this mid lane tier 2. Lord, level 1, 10 seconds.
RRQ versus Blacklist.
I love Clay, right? But I love him more when he's playing heroes with massive
Kau masuk
range.
kamera
He made the
ternyata
first work earlier. He had the range advantage. He knows when to hook. But with the Valentina, you have to be in your opponent's faces. And then you're facing off against Blacks International with 7K ahead. It's not an ideal situation.
If you're a squishy character right now,
no.
Mana sih? Oh iya itu. Halo.
Masih cantik.
Arashi, you were saying if you're squishy, this is what happens right here.
Exactly. Burst damage coming in from all.
Cut acarnya cut.
Edward can delete you if you're too careless, and if you're not playing.
Mau nggak kamu nih?
They are all squishy and they are
Acar.
to try and stop Blacklist and take
Gak usah.
these objectives.
Did you see Wise soloing that Lord?
I did. I mean, it was off cam. It was on a small little screen, but yeah, I did. Yep, the world did.
That's just how dominant Blacklist is right now. 9K gold lead. We saw that they had an advantage in the previous game.
Bisa beda banget ya sama game tadi ya. Gokil loh.
For Haji, with the Divine Glaive already prepared, that's a lot of burst damage. And if you are trying to just melt down this Edward on this blue, there's just not enough items. Poison Sight and Golden Staff done for Skylar won't be enough to just break through the Dominance Ice and the two Kiras as well.
Everyone across the board, say for Haji, has physical damage reduction. So that's why RRQ Hoshi's engages are all the more, I guess at this
sama
point,
buku Oracle.
trivial. It's so hard to find
Baru dah kalau udah jadi dua
I
itu
think the biggest problem is that if you take a look at Clay's items, right, that is not a very good item if you are Valentina. Right now, Clay needs to try to steal the better airstrike because Haji could always walk up and just basically zone it up. And here he goes. It is going to be RRQ that's really trying to defend. Skylar at the bottom side clearing it out. The Lord is actually getting killed very, very slowly. Skylar building up some damage. Blacklist, they touch and they go. They've already taken the prize.
Good news, bad news. Clay has the feathered airstrike right now.
Yeah.
Bad news is they're inside their base, so they can only really take advantage of it. It's a win-win for now, but if Blacklist can find that engage again, Wise has been their initiation like this.
And there we go. The better airstrike going in at the same time. It would not be able to control. And crowd control is denied. The better airstrike is going to be Blacklist taking down the bottom lane turret at the same time. 4 members left. It is going to be Wise leading the pack. Trying to charge. Albert trying to look for some play right here to sing, but not being able to find, and it's now. Oh my goodness, actually going in with the ultimate. Desperately, Blacklist is in a possible
Gila.
They have 2 base turrets, and now they're going for the third. Trying to execute again, and RRQ, they are forced to respond. But every time it happens, it's just the wrong response. R7 now taking very low. Blacklist, they're looking for the end possibly.
Oh no, that's ults and battle spells spent by RRQ Hoshi. They're gonna have to defend.
They have to defend. His Vin is already here as well. Wise is already taunted as well. But Alba's looking a little bit. Corner bomb memory doesn't able to connect. It's gonna be Blacklist, but there is no minutes. That one way marching down. A slow march as Clay. The battle of the banner airstrike. R7 trying to make a play. Will be able to find but will not be able to do so.
Maksa.
Desperately healing it apart. The core is
Maksa mundur dulu sih.
Blacklist International. They are giving a statement. But Skylar, mega kill. Shuts down Edward. But look at the core. The HP is slowly. The defense coming through.
Gila. Berapa menit ini war di depan sini?
3v4. RRQ Hoshi.
Gila, sampai 3 wave masuk.
Can they defend it, Skylar?
Defend.
It's just Skylar.
It's just
Gila.
Skylar.
Kelas. Ini baru game.
Number 2.
Gila, dengan hero yang sama.
The curse has been broken.
Gila.
The streak ended. Blacklist International's first victory at M4 against an Indonesian team.
They double down and use the same exact draft, and they get it done. As you mentioned, Leo, just the bands have so much impact right here, and they have shown it.
Kelas ini dua tim final kepagian sini.
Have the same tools, so they are expecting the same.
Apa enaknya Mobile Legends gitu ya, bisa lihat final 2 kali.
This is pure insanity, right? Like going, it's like trying something, trying the same thing again, but expecting different results. It's insanity.
They found a way to force RRQ Hoshi into this lineup. Again, taking away key heroes. No more Joy, no more Fanny. And in the debut of Lancelot on the world stage this year, it resulted in a loss. So this is a result of that. This is a result of Blacklist International sticking to their guns and forcing RRQ
Nunggu ini kita main ini lagi.
Into a game 2 victory. Now with that being said, before we go throw it over to our analysts, I'd like to remind everyone of the M4 pass available now for these all active tasks. You will reach level 75 and for free. Log in now and get exclusive rewards like the Beatrix Night Chase and Stellar Brilliant Skins, and of course the M4 Beatrix figurine. They're all waiting for you inside the pass. Use the hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLG4, and hashtag Beatrix when you're talking about it on social media. The M4 Battle Night goes live on January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in-game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. You can choose the skin you like the most from said chest. Aside from that, battle bonuses await you in the same day. Play matches.
Iya, bisa bray.
Team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double EXP, and double battle BP for 5 matches. We're not stopping there. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that same day. Save the date. Log in on January 21st and enjoy the matches you'll be playing. Tons of rewards.
Sambil makan, guys.
M4 World Championship together. Call all your friends. It's a faster matchup, and again, we did not expect Blacklist to do so well against RRQ Hoshi after their loss 20 minutes into game number 2. What's the reset going to be like for RRQ?
I think RRQ just need to relook at that Lancelot, right? I think giving Albert something that's very comfortable, but it's Blacklist's game to win in that particular game too.
And with that being said, we'll leave it to the analysts. Tell us what you think.
Well, what we think is the biggest question mark here. Same picks, different bands, a world of difference. To talk about it, my name is Lavelle, Naisu, as well as Trex. Guys, what do you guys think about the draft?
I mean, I'm really wondering, was game 1 just a test to see if they could withstand the Fanny in future games later on in this event? And the test was proven, maybe they can't. So the question all reminds us, why do they ban the same exact, well, why do they pick all the same things? Because I think those are the picks that they believe solid, and it turned out it worked against that draft.
I mean, looking at the draft, you take Blacklist International, and we talked about it earlier, right? They took out the Joy, they got rid of that, and they also took out the Fanny from Albert, and I feel like that was critical things here, because it was a lot harder for RRQ to get in range.
Yeah, I think that is kind of like the biggest thing we got to talk about, because right now, looking at the items, I kind of feel like everything is in order. I want to talk about historic peak. He was an MVP just now, but he could not catch up to Haji.
Again, I think the biggest part here is, like you said, the range. Every time you saw R7, maybe even Vin, try to cut them off, try to jump in there with the bravest fighter, Haji, all he had to do was fly away, right? And then you have that sustain to work with you as well. And just the range, I mean, this time we saw Oheb really pop off on this Brody pick, and at Clay, right? With the Valentina, you really got to get in range to be able to get the score that they want, and he just didn't get the opportunity.
Well, we got to look at it close statistics because, again, we got to look at all the damage coming out because in the previous game, Oheb, he was the carry, he dealt the most. And right now, looks like it's the same thing, but this time...
Modern deh kalian semua.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Oheb, and you also mentioned range, Oheb also had a very easy range. If they tried to dive onto him, he's able to let that second kill away, lob, and get that damage down. Once again, 812 gold. Victory! Itself, and he's able to secure that Hunter strike. Able to get even
Mangan, ngap Icon.
Looking at a team fight participation,
Jangan lupa di like ngap Icon.
both of these guys try to keep that
Welcome to the TAKO Universe Multiverse of Freedom.
international because in the early stages of the game, both Oheb as well as Skylar were very, very aggressive in securing those kills.
Mangan dulu, mangan, belum sempet mangan kita. Gimana John RRQ John?
Because Skylar is more punished compared to Oheb.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, right? The sustainability. This is why we keep seeing that Estes pick. If teams can't work around that obstacle of the healing, just moving together like that, it's really hard for them to come up with
Estes jadi band dah. Beres Bang, dukung siapa John?
little flashy, right? Trying to
Pertanyaannya dukung siapa ini?
but it just didn't work in this game number 2. And now we're gonna take a look at the MVP.
The MVP has got to be Oheb 9-2.
Dukung siapa permasalahannya Anda Icon?
80% kill participation, but I feel like the MVP
Kayaknya sudah pasti dukung Blacklist Anda Icon, Icon kun. Lah, salah ini nggak kelihatan ya gini.
Yeah, only two when we look at this. Only two, which is good on a world stage for sure. I mean, and as we said, to me the build is pretty typical.
Kasih Blacklist ya turun low biar bantai-bantai lower RRQ nih Bang. Oke, RRQ. Kenapa kok bisa RRQ tidak EVO spam? Kamu kenapa tuh, Ben? Gue ya jelas RRQ dong.
Right now, I want to look at the heat map because this is actually very crucial in how the rotations coming in from Blacklist International from 5 minutes all the way to 10 minutes. The way that they move around the map is they dictate which lane is easier for them to win. They're gonna stick around, make sure they get at least 2 objectives.
Anjing kok ini sih? Yes, terima kasih. Kok anjir sih?
Wind aid my hand.
Right now, we gotta look at the highlights in this game to really see what really happened throughout.
Well, again, part of this game, they were already jumping in. Look at the
Kok hancur sih ini gua?
already, right? It's 1-7. They control so much of part of this map, and like you mentioned, you can see, right? RRQ is really trying hard to find those angles, find moments where they can. But unfortunately, every single time they initiated, Black International just had to pull back, heal up, and reinitiate themselves.
Epos kan masuk gua Bang. 7 juara dunia. Eco sama Onyx gua sama Bang. Gua sebenarnya Blacklist sih, Con. Pada dasarnya gue Blacklist, Con. Pada dasarnya nih ya. Cuma nekat nggak sih gue naruh di sini? Mampus, mampus. Makan tuh Hobgoblin. Ya, kenapa nggak EVOS lu Bang? EVOS turu Con, nggak bisa diandalkan. Mid lane-nya nggak kayak gua. Turu. Gua mau direkrut Blacklist aja gantiin Haji, katanya skill gua 11-12 sama Haji. Tapi emang Indo terlalu ini sih. Terlalu meremehkan tadi game kedua, bro. Estes Oh My V di lepas. Wah, bahaya, bro. Bayi Wong mulai menjajah dunia per Mobile Legends-an.
Kita pakai bahasa Indonesia ya.
Bahasa Jawa juga boleh kok Kak ya.
Oke, nggak apa-apa. Oke, pertama pasti tegang ya. Yang kedua juga yakin Indonesia akan menang.
Gas, Bang, kita predik panas. 1 plus Mocha Float. Anjing, ngasihnya kapan? Ngasihnya kapan? Haji nggak autoklik, Bang. Anjing, gua juga nggak autoklik, Con. Buset deh. Gua tidak autoklik.
Kalau Kak Fatin gimana nih? Deg-degan banget ya nontonnya. Karena pertama kali nonton langsung juga. Dan tapi aku yakin banget Indonesia akan ngasih yang terbaik. Oke, this is the first time that she won the tournament on the stage. And she was ready to watch Indonesia gonna win this match. So we're even right now.
Pas gajian Bang Taco. Enggak lah, Con, jangan taruhan, Con. Dosa, Con. Enggak baik, Con. Dosa, Con.
RRQ will win 3-1. Sorry ya, asik. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Viva! Viva! Viva!
Ini bocah kayak ngerti aja ya, si Baimong ya, ngemput. Nah, menang gua. Ya, kan ketahuan banget nggak? Lah anjing, kok dia? Udah cabut. Kok dia pindah anjing?
Sebelum cintamu semakin dalam, maafkan diriku memilih RRQ sebelum ku tahu cintamu.
Anjing, gua nggak bisa cabut ini, cabut ah. Bener-bener gak respect hero-hero Venus sama Banglo itu. Gila. Kalau si Bay mah emang, iya nih ada duit doang ini, 2 orang ini. Mau ngambil respect dari bocil-bocil ML dia. Semenjak prank KDRT. Bisa-bisanya mau nerima Muntun. Fatin nih, bos. Mana? Kalau si Bay emang Glory juga itu, Bang. Nah, makanya Fatin nih, bos. Iya, nggak guna anjing. Fatin setahu gua main Genshin, bangsat. Kenapa dia jadi main Mobile Legends?
Has somewhat figured out how to take down and win in their first game so far in M4 against Indonesian squads. Now,
Makan Bang Snow.
let me remind everyone watching about the M4 pass available now. Complete all active tasks. You will reach level 75 with ease.
Begini caranya. 1,
Rewards such as the Beatrix Light Chaser and celebrating skins and the M4 Beatrix figurine.
kita amanin 1 line dulu. Ya udah lu makan sana tuh.
The M4 Battle Night goes live as well this January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in game. First off, complete the battle tasks in game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. You can choose the skin you like the most from that chest. Aside from that, got battle bonuses waiting for you. And get this, you can play matches to get team star protection for 3 matches, double star rating points, double protection points, double EXP, and double BP for 5 matches. We're not stopping there. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will be up for.
Ini chest yang bisa milih skin epic kapan sih dibukanya? Bisa dibukanya kapan sih?
Let's all celebrate the M4 World Championships together. Call your friends. Now, that being said, Jace, Arashi, I said that right.
Thank you.
Correct order. I believe with this series alone, we've broken records, all right?
Yes.
Surpassed M3.
Yeah, man. This is a big celebration.
Itu si Baim kan emang udah lama main ML. Oh iya sih, kalau ini bener juga ya, udah lama ya dia main ya, bener juga. Sorry Baim. Ariel Noah juga main, tapi nggak tahu sekarang masih main apa enggak pensi. Ya mari silahkan. Ariel setahu gua kalau gacanya dia demen dah baru main lagi dah. Dia itu simnya Ayaka dia. Kita korbanin aja di sini ya. Lumayan nambah 3, nambah 2 di kanan. Udah. Silakan aja main di kiri terus. Gue sih nggak peduli.
We're kind of close, but it feels so far away from it, and we're already breaking records. This M4 has been insane, man.
Well, this is for you guys watching at home, and for everyone here at Tennis Indoor Sinayan, go ahead, claim this milestone redeem code M4, dare to be great.
Gue pindah ke layer dulu bang. Iya siap, Bang Icon jangan lupa like-nya bang, bantu. Terima kasih. Nah iya bener, sim Ayaya. Iya dia sim Ayaya setahu gua. Kalem menang bro. Master of Marvel Snap gua orangnya. Victory. Deck destroy, ingat catat adik-adik. Deck paling OP. Oh. Mission lancar. Sampai draft pick pertama ya. Kita di sini dulu ya. Gimana game kedua Bang Snow?
It's all flanking maneuvers. In game number 2, you see very little of that. Yes, we did see that Vin goes in from the back, trying to flank, but it's just not nearly enough. It's not decisive enough, right? He doesn't have the speed, the gap closers, the damage that R7 had in game number 1. So if they can get something similar, they can go for it again. But unless they can do that, I think they should try and adapt and do something different.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. 100% true because watching game 1 and
Bangsat banget gue ya.
had R7 on the Joy, Hilda on Vin, and that was already enough to break the Ube. Here in game 2, there was almost nobody trying to break the Ube, if anything. So going into game 3, that again, a quick recap of how game 2 went down. Skylar was doing a lot on that carry.
Anjing.
So much, right?
Deadpool.
More damage. Good AoE. On the other hand, Oheb, this is when Ube works. Ube works its best this way when Oheb can do everything he wants for free. Rough shot.
I mean, just so much damage, and he is so secure because he also has that very reliable self-peel. And in contrast, you see that RRQ, their main damage dealers kind of struggle to match that kind of performance.
Snap.
Even Albert has just such low damage.
Snap.
R7. So
Buru!
something needs to
Shut the fuck up!
a bit more backup, or he needs a bit more.
Masih 1 menit lagi bending pace-nya.
Enable him because
Cilin lagi dah, gue takut kena copyright musik.
we have seen that Albert's Lancelot is just insane.
Subtitle please anjing. Apa sih Deadpool ini? Nah, kan untung aja. Lah kan yang menang gua ya? Kok yang ambil kartu dia? Di bangsat. Makan tuh. Permasalahannya gue bisa main destroy nggak ya ini? Kayaknya jangan main destroy sini, bahaya ya bray. Kayaknya gini aja deh. Kita pancing supaya snap ya. Ih, nyerah bro, culun. Victory is our. Victory is our. Hehehe. Hehehe. Secure satu line. Gas bro, turn sampai 7 mah bro, gas bro. Ini gue masukin si ini berarti warpat. Di 6 gue masukin ini Cosmo. Bagus, minimal dapat 4 gua. Iya. Mampus. Mampu Suren, dapat 4 lumayan. Emang enak. Siapa itu? Wah, Fanny dipancing keluar. Oh, dia mau ngeluarin Galactus ya. Cie gitu, bray. Nih, makan nih. Anjing. Bangsat, kalah gua. Beda 2, bray. Anjing, harusnya gua di kiri ya. Anjing, Galactus emang bangsat emang. Kalah kita. Aduh, nggak bisa keluar ini. Gobloy. Harit di ban, Kaja di ban. Wah, dia main dead nih jangan-jangan. Waduh. Ya silahkan Cosmo. Hah? Oh iya, gue dapet dari situ. Semoga aja nggak mati Profesor Egg gua. Minimal dapat 4 mampu. Biar aman ini dulu dah. Tapi kalau itu nggak bisa ngeluarin itu ya gue. Anjing Lunox itu. Lunox Gotland boleh. Delapan. Anjing, nggak keluar mulu, kalah RNG babi. Anjing, turun ke silver dong gua, bangsat. Destroy gua nggak keluar anjing. Sabar, udah mulai, sabar.
A lot of focus on Haji instead of Oheb. Oheb, I think he should be able to handle the Lunox earlier in terms of the level, but because the Lunox is being brought into the gold lane, it's not 4 minutes problem, it's a 3-minute problem. So the heal coming out from Skylar's first skill will be a little bit skewed towards, but it's a lot of damage. 3 members already at the bottom side. Vin get terrified a little bit. No biggie for RRQ for now.
Yeah, no, this is very similar to game 2. Again, how Blacklist International put the pedal to the metal early on and spent battle spells as they should to better time that first turtle take. We're about a minute away, 50 seconds before that happens. And I have eyes on Albert because this is a huge presence they have in bottom lane.
Yeah, I feel like right here, the first 2 games, they're focused a lot on the mid lane, but now, oh my goodness, using the Flicker for now. Albert actually stunned Albert. Albert does have the ultimate this time around activated, but no kills for now. Blacklist International will side for relief.
They're trying to actually collapse on this bottom side, but of course the turtle is on the top side, so Albert goes in aggressively. He is all alone though. This might be a mistake.
A missed cable, but Albert managed to get out just nice. A lot of focus happening at the bottom lane. Skylar will be the one that we had focus on. Skylar burn off the flicker right off the bat for now. Blacklist 3 members at the bottom lane, but Fanny is slowly working towards the turtle pit.
Yep, that's key battle spells spent at least maybe seconds before this turtle, and it looks like they come to a gentleman's agreement. All right, we get purple first, both of us, and then we try to contest.
I mean, Skylar on this Lunok, right? This is what makes it a decent pick. There's good sustain, good outplay potential. He's going 1v1 against Oheb right here. Ooh.
I can see the beauty of this right now. Skylar going in. Oh, will not be able to miss a shot. Skylar will not be taking down his counterpart just yet.
Oh, Vin at about half health here at level 4 already. Oh my Venus not hitting that quite yet because the Queen has been left to, again, babysit so much of mid and bottom. And with that being said, top lane!
Top lane spins to win, but Edward will be the one that wins it away. So a little bit of a Mexican standoff. A very slow early game, if you ask me, ladies and gents.
It's a tough situation for RRQ because compared to game number 1, they don't really have a lot of targets that they can just burst down, like we saw to get Albert snowballing. Edward is just tanky, he can run away. Haji is relatively mobile as well, and right now they're going for the turtle play.
Real War managed to go in, the liminal charges. It's going to be the Blue Bracket hits down. Two crazy Real War manipulations putting out the damage, but it's going to be Edward that picks up the first blood for now.
Oh, Edward forcing Clay to flicker underneath that turret. Crystal Void keeping him where he is, but all this time, it's Blacklist who has their eyes on the bigger picture. A clear lead already, 3 minutes in, 1,000 gold. Arashi, what are they doing with that gold?
Clay is building towards mana regeneration. He definitely wants to be able to clear this wave, and Albert just comes in with some swag. Won't be enough right here, and as you can see, Skylar with the mana boots as well. He just must try and sustain in the lane, play it safe, try and avoid the ganks and possible.
Cloud masih early game,
start itemizing for physical defense. Again, trying to counter, ensuring that Albert does not get to snowball, because that is a big factor for RRQ's victory.
Something interesting right here. Oh, that's a wall charge already used, right? On top of Edward, but Edward just walks away, scoff it off like a boss. But hold on a second, Real War manipulation coming down. Minimum charges. Albert will be able to pick up the bubble for now. Hydra will respond to the same. Vin coming in, just bouncing around. Alzheimer's revenge going in. It's a choke point, and the son of the map RRQ. And right now, Blacklist International picks up the double kill at the same time. Albert trying to spin the win, but we'll be able to take out the Queen for now. It's gonna be the Roma traded for 2 members, but Wise is not putting up just yet. Edward picks out R7.
What's impressive is the fact that Haji did not die. I could have sworn Valentina was gonna bite it, but again, that's just what happens when you're the KDA machine. This young man has been playing jungle for a while. His career started that way, and that's what explains his mechanics. Speaking of mechanics, Albert looking for one up top.
Not enough damage, I don't think so. Edward may have goes in the split just right in time. Albert will be getting out. Lumina Blast, no! Skylar has to burn the flicker and an ultimate just to get out of there.
Arashi, second turtle, spawning in about 5 seconds. Who has the advantage?
I think Blacklist definitely has an advantage right now. 3K does not seem like much, but it does make a difference. And they have the pressure because we've seen that they are the ones being more successful in these big fights. They are the ones that have the beefier members that has been able to survive most of the damage. And RRQ, they have to be careful because Clay and Albert has been the main target.
Albert's in the vicinity as well. Wise will be the one that wins the ritual. Letting down the fire. Would not be able to stun RRQ for now. Blacklist International to pick up their prize and to walk away.
It's a bit curious right here because usually when we see Clay play the Eve against a Valentina, he is very careful in letting that Valentina steal the real manipulation. In this game though, Haji has been very active using that to spell demise for RRQ. So it's just quite the interesting situation. I wonder what exactly is causing this. But as we look at the items right here, Oheb already has the Demon Hunter sword, so the frontliners, Vin as well as R7 are going to be a bit squishier in his eyes. So that is something that we have to be careful about.
Gila. Manipulation in time. That's another kill. Given over the time of Blacklist, but Albert trying to spin.
Cuma buat Clay anjir, gokil juga.
Unfortunate for RRQ.
Tapi dapat turret sih.
That was ults and a chicken sandwich thrown in there to take down one. But it's not good.
It's not going to be enough.
Hang up! Haji! Haji! Aduh Haji!
Nationals walks away alive.
That's a tough situation, man. We said RRQ has no targets on the side of Blacklist International, but the opposite is not true at all. If Clay gets hit by any kind of crowd control,
Gila,
the follow-up is more than enough to ensure that he gets taken out.
Eevee nggak ada apa-apanya bro, nggak ada rasanya Eevee bangsat.
You know who's a sitting duck? Oh my penis! Concealed right out of there. Albert, just not enough damage.
You mean invisible duck? Conceal play saving the queen there. And again, it just shows that RRQ Hoshi, at this point in the game, mid-game, 6 minutes, 7 minutes approaching, they need to shrink this 4K gold lead. And they're doing their best, right? They're finding things on the map, and it's come to the point where Wise can steal buffs away from Albert. This is a difficult place to be for the baby alien.
I think right now, just RRQ unable to use Albert to find a pickoff. Another thing that we also need to take note of is Skylar 000, right? Going into the clock item as the first item, he needs more time to get more damage to rack out. But once he gets that threshold, you expect Wise to get chunked down very quickly.
Later on, though, it's going to be a moment where the Lunos will do a lot of damage.
Go all the way in. It's going to be R7 wall charge. The Blazing Duet going over the back line. It's going to be Haji reborn the same. The threshold is actually forgotten by both of these two teams. But Albert is actually one that falls. Wise will also pick up Skylar.
Ngapain masuk lagi?
Go ahead and try to make the mid lane open, and then rotate over to the turtle.
That choke point became their demise. RRQ Hoshi giving 3 members away for free. The Blacklist. That load lead just astronomical at this point. 8 minutes in, about 7K.
Lunox nggak masuk, big gold, bray.
Free to Wise and the
6.000 bray, 8 menit bray.
It's so
Lemon, turunkan Lemon.
To play happen, but they get comboed instead. I was about to say that later on, there'll be an extra factor in Skylar being a big problem for Blacklist. But before that can even happen, Blacklist seems to be trying to end the game early. Make sure that the gold lead is just too big.
I saw that, right? You saw that, right? It's so weird. Albert was trying to invade, take the purple buff. Don't forget, a Fanny without a purple buff is basically playing the game with half your hand. Albert is doing exactly that.
Well, where did the purple buff go is my question. Now it's Wise's turn to do the same. And this time he gets it. No orange for you, sir. Not today. Let's look at the items here. About 9 minutes in.
Dia tahu hero power
going on here, Arashi? Can we expect Skylar to come online soon?
Well, on the other side, Ohab already has the golden staff, so things looking more difficult for him. And Skylar is still so far away from his power spikes. It's going to take a bit longer, man.
Domino blast across the wall for now. There's the flicker going in. Will be able to catch Finn at the same time. The wall manipulation coming up for Clay. Going to the squad as well. R7 would not be able to find anything at all. Actually, will be the one first fall. But Skylar, here comes the Blazing Duet coming Ohab. Will be able to pick up R7 in the back line. But unfortunately, Skylar will be able to return that tray. 2 damage dealers for just a Arc and also the Kufra.
A relatively messy team fight. They engaged with Valentina, Haji getting the wild charge, and was taken down even before it made a difference. So with that being said, where does RRQ Hoshi go this time around, Arashi? What does Albert do?
Albert needs to just be a nuisance right here. There's no real easy target he can just one-shot. So if he just splits the map around, making sure that the members of Blacklist are constantly worried about him moving in out of nowhere, he can allow the rest of the team to just do damage. Because we saw that Skylar, despite only having a Cup of Destiny, is beginning to do a lot more damage. So, yeah.
Personally, I feel like, guys, Albert has been going out without a purple buff, but hold on a second, he may actually be able to do something for now. Skylar will be able to shred all my bitters in the back line at the same time. Skylar almost close to take down Haji though. Back to my point.
Boleh. Lunox sudah mulai sakit, Lunox.
Albert has gone 3 minutes without a purple buff. And look what Blacklist is doing.
They're just starving him.
Yeah.
That's key. And again, if his goal is to split up the map and maybe pick up a purple along the way,
then that's just... turnamen tuh masih aja nge-pick Fanny ya, gue bingung deh orang-orang. Kan dia ketergantungan buat blue buff ya, ngapain ya? Kenapa nge-lag pas lagi kayak gini, Bambang? Woi! Ya elah.
Heavy on top, right? And they're not out of the woods just yet. There's a small win here that they're looking at a possible push up top.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta take a look back at this game. You notice Blacklist International. Blacklist International, they did not clear the purple buff. If you notice, the purple buff is there, but it's only that small little PQ, right? Right now, what Blacklist International is doing is basically starving out. There's only one purple on the map.
Oh, and they turned it into a bait. They're engaging.
They're engaging, but now it's gonna be Albert. This time around, unable to secure the purple buff now. It's gonna be main actually falls. Engaging coming from RRQ. Skylar's trying to be doing some damage, but the back line will go in. The Blacklist do it. Coming in the back line, eliminating the charge. Will not be able to Skylar coming in the swing. Haji will be the first ball. Then the ball coming up from Blacklist alongside with Haji.
2 for 2, and just like that, key members going down. Vin and R7, while Blast International. I wonder who made this call. Pretty sure it's the Queen. They go straight for the Lord.
Straight for the Lord. Always trying to make a play happen here. He's alone. It's actually 3v3.
He does have the retribution, ladies and gents. It's all about the retribution. Albert will not be able to do so. He will lose in life to the Queen.
Anjir,
Instantaneous punish. Arashi, what's RRQ Hoshi to do?
Makan lagi
They have
dah.
to play more conservative, man. I think that when they try and counter engage with the wild charge, they're finding a lot more success.
Turu, Indo turu.
Right
Indo
now,
turu.
RRQ is trying their best to clear the waves, and if you look at Skylar, the damage is starting to build up. He has a Divine Glaive, and if you look at R7, he has a Blade of Despair as well. So the damage is available, it just needs to land on the right person.
Indo turu.
As well. I'm willing to ensure that he does not get shut down, get picked off by the members of RRQ.
Game 2 draft, again, it was so easy for Blacklist to defend. Again, just build physical defense. But now I'm liking the damage coverage. There's a good amount of magic, good amount of physical, especially from R7. I am afraid to walk into his grok in a dark alley at night. But now it looks like the choke is continuing. No purple for you, says Blacklist, as they go ahead and pressure all lanes. The map is turning red. The strength of the
map
Fanny
is turning red.
called. Usually you're so mobile, now you're stuck in your base.
Yeah.
I feel for the baby alien.
It feels bad, man. Albert had a wonderful game number 1 with the Fanny, and I think Blacklist International, that's just ingenious the way they start out the map, right? Right now, if you notice, there's no 2 purple buff. There's only 1 purple buff in this whole land of Dawn, and this is insane strategy coming out from Blacklist.
What's really difficult for RRQ right now is also the fact that Clay is very, very behind. He finally now builds the glowing wand, so this will be a big factor. Multiple instances of damage will be buffed by that item, so in these fights, if it draws on for long enough, there's going to be a lot of extra damage coming in from that Eve, and also a lot of percentage HP damage coming in towards Edward, Wise, and Venus. So we'll have to see if that will be enough for RRQ to win the next team fight. I think they have to play it a lot slower for just a bit longer, man. They need items to ensure that they have even a chance of making a comeback.
Yeah, about a minute before the Lord spawns, so that should be a good indicator. Should be a nice way to say, you know what, we'll wait for that Lord, and then we'll make a play. Looking at the players' gold here, Skylar, at least the gold is going to the right people for RRQ Hoshi, right? It's going to their gold laner, and I'm still waiting. We saw a little bit of that taste. And Jace, you're right, man. Oh, Bert comes here, he's like, oh no, that's miserable. They left a tiny one for me.
Yeah, and the worst part is it's going to be Wise already at the purple buff. Basically, Blacklist reading RRQ's movement like an open book. There's nowhere that Albert will be able to do anything. Once again, Wise in the purple buff away from RRQ.
I mean, Blacklist are moving so well, and RRQ are trying to get a pick off, but when you have a Kufra as
dimakanin aja terus buah birunya.
As long as the front line does not leave any gaps for the Kufra to dash into, the backline, Oheb, and Haji is relatively safe.
Oh, that's a strike coming up with Skylar. There's a lot of damage going in. Edward is desperately trying to survive, but here comes Oheb as well. He's heading down. The BMI doesn't even well, but Haji will be able to come in the first kill. Haji in, will be able to delete Haji right over that. Oh my goodness, charges. It's going to be the being stuck right in the bouncing ball, and now it's going to be Blacklist. They do have Oheb, and they'll push out the back, and R7 will fall. 3 members falling just for the cost.
The Canadian machine takes 3 down along with him, and Blacks International is ripe for the pick. If they can do anything they want, force an inhibitor, take Lord here, that is Luminous. Arashi, what's the best call?
They have to try and clear the wave as much as possible. I mean, Albert has already tried and done that, but in the bottom side, 3 members of Blacklist trying to make sure that they can do something.
Manipulation, Oheb is already half HP. He has to slow down Clay. That's only person that actually defends for now, but at the same time, Wise has out the Lord.
That's a 1v1 that Wise has started.
Albert.
And it looks like he can. Albert! Oh!
Albert will not be able to connect. The split. Unfortunate passive is not full enough for Edward to jump on top, but it's already Wise, already on the job right here, putting down some damage on top of the Lord. It's going to be a free Lord over to Blacklist International.
So much pressure coming from Blacklist, and they waste no time at all. Getting the Lord, they go for the purple buff yet again. All the minutes being charged up.
Luminum Blast gets cancelled, but that is okay because Haji can also get for Blacklist International. Finn catches Wise, but oh my god, Albert cannot do anything for now. Blacklist International will push up their advantage, but they have another Lord marching down bot.
Just as quickly as Albert cabled on through, he says, nope, never mind. That's 5 members of Blacklist I could be walking into. Looking at the items here, Blacks International, they're at the 52k threshold. Give them maybe 10 more, 15 more, they should start building.
Upper bracket 11.000. Ya Allah, Indo kenapa ini?
For Skylar, even Clay. So again,
Kayak
they have to
counter
extend
banget
that limit
anjing.
wherein that magic damage is
RRQ
gonna
sama
hurt Arashi.
Blacklist.
Exactly.
Lord charging in, Oham has to BMI all the way out. The damage has been down for the side of Blacklist International. There's a free Lord marching in from the bottom side. Clay force the real one manipulation going all the way up. No damage, no follow-up coming up from Blacklist. They will take what they can, take down bottom lane.
They're able to get the bottom side turret, and now they're just playing it very, very patient. They understand that they don't have to do anything extraordinary. If they just play calm and calculated, they are set for success with a 12k gold lead right now. And as you mentioned, Leo, the magic damage is going to start to hurt, but if you look at Blacklist's items, they are Radiant Armors and Athena Shields all over the place. They are well prepared for those late game team fights.
So it's gonna come down to utility, right? It's gonna come down to what you got. Not, well, both. What you got and how you use it, right? It's about the engagement, and maybe that's where Vin is going to be more important. They forced out a flicker from Clay this early on.
I think the most important thing is how Blacklist has full control, and look at what they're doing right now. He's leaving a free, I don't know, gift behind for Albert. Albert's not going to do anything. He is now, unfortunately, it hurts to say this, guys. Albert is just a split push minion.
Yeah, no, because of the fact that there's 2 Lords for Blacklist so far in this 18-minute game, we're approaching that. The waves are just so much more powerful.
Albert, that's a very dangerous neighbor for Will. He has the cable all the way out. Blacklist International actually putting out some damage from the side, but Aluminum Blast actually charge out. R7 using the wall charge again on the way. They don't want to engage Blacklist in this form.
And now Blacklist has uses a bunch of ultimates. The Lord fortunately is not up, but RRQ, they understand that they have an opportunity here, a small window where Venus does not have a blast. They might just get emboldened by it. They might be looking for a chance to try and make something happen, but of course Blacklist already just waiting, setting up traps around the map for the members of RRQ.
What's this last item that Clay is building towards? Could that possibly be necklace or
Winter?
Winter Truncheon?
I feel like you would just at this point require a lot more damage. I think the Holy Crystal would make sense, but we'll just have to see, man. It all depends on how the game progresses, and now with the Lord up, Black.
Lu bawah sana, tai lah, internet why, motherfucker. Tolonglah anjing. Bro. Come on, bro.
On how the game progresses, and now with the Lord up, Blacklist yet again is pushing the tempo, and RRQ might be forced to engage onto one of the tanker members of the front. That is not what they want. Do they know this? There's 3 members of Blacklist up there. Is there vision on this? Because this rotation could be lethal. And I'm talking about both of them. This could have been a map absent from Blacklist, but no, they're just looking for an answer. They're just making sure that they choke away the purple.
The lack of information is hurting, especially RRQ, but at the same time, Edward tries to recharge out some time. Albert is the one who gets he has to cable all the way out there. Blacklist International, they're looking for 100, looking for the assassin of RRQ. That's going to be right here. Aluminum Blast lands on all of the group, but would that be enough? So Blacklist International, I think they could spend it too much, and Vin jump all the way in.
Mereka nggak ngelor dulu karena tahu si Wise-nya itu nggak ada retri.
Hopefully they're trying to change the game around. Skylar will be able to take down OM, and Blacklist International may have overstayed their welcome. Edward desperately trying to do some damage to the R7, actually possessing for now. I think Blacklist International, they overstayed their welcome.
That was a 1-for-1 in the end, right? Gold laner for gold laner, and if you're 10k behind, 11k behind, I see that as a win. RRQ Hoshi, they walked into that fight with conviction, and they walked away with a small win.
Right now, Lord,
bisa nyamain.
4v4 fight. Skylar, go both gold laners. There's no pushing power coming out. It's up to Vin to try to set this up.
Oh, Vin is trying to make the engage happen, but that's a lot of damage being traded on back to him. Look at Omar, Vin is making the play work.
Aluminum Blast going in. It's going to be the wall being built by the side of R7. And we're trying to be a nuisance right here, but he's dragging the Vin towards it. Wise is actually working on top of the Lord. But now Albert trying to spin. Clay, he has a damage. He takes down the Valentina. And now it's going to be Valentina trying to desperately try to do some damage control. Oh, just respawn. He's trying to make a beeline. But here comes R7 wall charge. Knocking 2 members out from the side of Blacklist. It's going to be a back-to-back fight at the Lord Pit.
It's a 4v5 right now, 20 minutes in. Every single death is painful. Every death timer will be upwards of a minute if you make the wrong mistake, right? So this is very dangerous. RRQ Hoshi have found a window.
Vin charging out all the way up. Oh my goodness, there's nowhere to be there. Wise is actually going in to activate the window con already. It's going to be Albert trying to look for some pickup right there, but the wall's actually blocking OM. There it goes. The Clay coming in with the wall manipulation. Wise has to run away. OM and the back line with the blessing to win. Not good enough, but will be good enough to take down R7 for now. Skylar still in the midst right there. He does have the Chaos Assault, but has to bomb the Brilliance at the same time. He's all my Brilliance. That's what he's trying to stun. Finn will try to push a scrappy board for both teams.
2 for 1. I was just talking about death timers, and that's about 40 and 50 for Vin and R7. It's a 3v5 for the next 30 seconds.
It's 4 members of Blacklist against RRQ who do not have a frontliner. That is a dangerous game they're playing right now. Unfortunately for RRQ, the waves are still pushing in their favor, so they have a bit of a window, but Blacklist will not stay silent for long. They're already trying to get control in the Lord Pit, and R7 still 15 minutes away from respawning. Blacklist might just force it, or they might just bait a fight for RRQ.
Fun fact, ladies and gents, Albert finally got his purple buff, right? Now he's actually playing the game. Blacklist, on the other hand, you know, they've got Wise coming back up. RRQ, they know they cannot accept this fight. They've got 2 members down. Clay, Real World Manipulation is available, but I don't think they can do anything for now.
They send Albert home at half health.
Oh,
charge up some energy.
And word flicker, Clay will get possessed. Oh no, Real World Manipulation go in. Albert is really trying to go in the save. Haju will be taking the Real World Manipulation away from the side of Clay. He will be responding, but the main prize right here is Wise. Focusing on the Lord instead. Haju will be able to take down Clay. Oh, that's great.
Arsapang.
It's crazy.
Arsapang.
From RRQ, but Blacklist International, they're not giving up. They will take the fight with the Dragon going in. It's going to be a little bit of last country. Members of RRQ, it's going to be Albert that's trying to defend, but RRQ, they took the Lord.
5v1. This is a dangerous place to be. They pop the immortality on Baby Alien, and they're going to ride this minion. It's just one minion.
It's just enough? 2 minutes
from
Blacklist International. They take
Blacklist gila, keras banget, Cok.
Match point, ladies and gentlemen. Match point for the world champions, and the King of Kings in home court are sweating the kingdom all over, sweating. Arashi, this is recovery. This is a streak broken. This is Blacklist.
This is Blacklist, and now RRQ with their backs against the wall. They need to find something that works, and they need to find it fast. Blacklist, they're just so calm and calculated. Even when RRQ are able to do the signature maneuvers and make the fight messy, Blacklist have figured out how to survive the initial ambush, and they have come back stronger than ever. This is a big problem for RRQ right now.
Wah, gua nonton draft pick-nya dah habis ini dah. Seru cuy draft pick-nya cuy. Lanjut dulu dah ini dah. Indo.
I feel like, ladies and gents, there's so much good in plays happening all across the map, but we only have one observer. I pointed out just now the purple buff was left just one purple buff on purpose. Crazy strategy, but at the same time, the observer also cannot catch the fact that R7 made that play to steal away the Lord, but that's not enough.
I hope our analysts, once we throw over to them, picks up on 2 key points, right?
Yeah.
Number 1 is the fact that, yes, they starved Albert because of the buff mechanic. They just left 1, and then that means he can only really go for 1, and they can corral him there. The other is how Blacklist International used turtle fights into complete wipeouts. They did that in the early to mid game, and I'm hoping that the analysts cover more of that. So right now, on behalf of Jays and Arashi, at your service, my name is Leo. Let's throw it over to our handsome analysts.
Don't worry, amazing casters, because we will definitely cover that. Blacklist International enter the stage with 0-6 against Indonesian teams. Now it looks like they're reverse sweeping it with 2-7. But to answer both questions, we gotta talk about Wise on the Fredrin. Welcome to the analyst stand with me, Lafel, Trex, as well as Nice. I agree with Leo. We gotta talk about this. Let's talk about Wise.
Wise, man, on this Fredrin pick, I think this is the best we've seen it played. I mean, we've seen Fredrin a lot, but specifically, like Leo said, we were picking up on this earlier too, right? Blacklist International would leave that small, that small buff creep.
Exactly,
minion, right?
Menolak keluar bracket ini BL. Iyalah BL, Con, lu macem-macem. Jangan meremehkan BL. Udah gue bilang jangan meremehkan BL. BL, bro, this is BL. Don't you forget.
Those minute details that gives Blacklist those small advantages, those small choices, those even in that last fight, splitting them up and knowing that because of the gold lead, they can still take advantage even if they lose the Lord.
Yeah, Wise used Fredrin almost flawlessly because he's tanky, but he even talked about how Blacklist International are really using the turtle to dictate the fight because again, Fredrin not only is tanky, but he could control a lot of people, taunting so everyone actually moves together and he can hit everyone with the ult. Let's look at the itemization as well as the hero pick because I do want to talk about Wise, but I also want to talk about a different kind of build or an update on the build for Claude because not only Oheb is using this build, but before, even Skylar, we got to talk about the Corrosion Scythe on this Claude.
Corrosion Scythe, right, it's going to slow people down as soon as you're getting those attacks on, and I think that's crucial here, especially, again, complementing that Fredrin. You have the CC, the knock up there, you also have the taunt, and then on top of it, what you also saw from, I mean, even Haji, a lot of the times the way that he was following up with the Terrify, you know, that's what makes Valentina so strong, not to mention being able to take the ultimates here, and all of that just kind of really complemented each other, and I feel like that's why you see a lot of Corrosion Scythe pickups now for Claude specifically.
I mean, and then as well, him picking up that Wind of Nature towards the end there, able to, once again, give them the sustainability in these team fights. But the big thing to point out is 16,000 gold. I mean, if you let Oheb farm, it's a rough game for anyone facing them.
16,000 gold in 23 minutes in this
game.
Gave Oheb, the rich guy, 726 gold per minute.
Draft picknya kita harus nonton nanti nih. Gue nggak ngerti sama Indo kenapa tetap melepas Fredrin sama Glue, bro.
Oh my Venus, and I kind of feel like this is what is beautiful about Blacklist International's draft.
Fredrin sama Glue, kenapa tetap terus-terusan dilepas Fredrin sama
Having the
Glue?
Corrosion Scythe on the clock, because usually we just see the sword, golden staff, and then straight into something like
Mau kemana kamu? Kamu mau kemana? Amidal, kamu mau kemana, Amidal?
There's almost no way for them to go on. So they can't be like, oopsie poopsie, I'm sorry, let's get out of this. They can't do that.
Yeah, it's tough for them to, and this was kind of a similar situation from Game 2, right? It was a lot
rapi banget BL bro.
These teams here, but this
time
too,
kadang
I mean,
Indo Pride tapi suka banget ngeliat gameplaynya BL gitu.
Wild
Mana ya?
charge from R7 could have possibly turned the game there,
Plus
but
gitu
unfortunately by that time, it was just too late. You know, the massive lead that Blacklist International had, and not to mention for the majority of the game, it was really not in favor of RRQ with the objectives, right? We saw this from Game 2 where they didn't have any space to work with, and Blacklist International pretty much did the same thing here for the majority of this game.
Yeah, Blacklist International now match point, and we got to give it over to Wise as we're talking about him. 8-1-13. He only died once around the Lord Pit where he just took too much damage. 81% kill participation. Trex, what else can we say about this guy?
I mean, just full defensive build, the Guardian helmet to give him even more sustainability, and this is, I mean, all around from all three games. It's been sustainability with a touch of damage, and as long as we can outlast them, we can beat them, and that is like, that's the motto of Blacklist right there.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like RRQ going up against this next game, because if they lose, it's game over. They got to pay attention to Wise because he's been doing too much on this Fredrin. After this, we're going to be looking at the heat map, and the way that they've been moving around, I like the control in the jungle as well as the riverside coming in from Blacklist International, because again, Fanny has one big problem, which is the purple buff.
Purple buff.
Yeah, but soon we're gonna look at the highlights to see what really happened throughout the game, because the movement is quite coordinated coming in from Blacklist.
Again, right, you see a lot of this in the early on part of the game. Blacklist International already had that lead starting off, but this is really where they started to focus on controlling the jungle here, specifically that purple buff.
Kita kunci Sokin.
They fought around these objectives. They just, everything fell into place for them.
Not only that,
Bismillah.
a little bit about R7 earlier.
Kita kunci tengah, ya kan?
He was never able to get that big setup. Yes, towards the end, as you mentioned, the Hail Mary, but still, he's just constantly holding on to it.
Yes!
Woo! Like what R7 is really looking for is a counter engage, because he knows once Oheb comes in, he could punish it, but Oheb having a very good trigger finger is like, I'm not gonna go in. I'm perfectly comfortable just attacking from behind. And the thing is, that is kind of like causing R7 not to be as aggressive as he can be. And the moments like, this is a good change for the E, because when you're in the real world manipulation, you can't get stopped by crowd control. R7 tried time and time again. It didn't work out well.
Yeah, I think Brock is still
Let's go.
a great option, but in terms of even then, we saw it in the highlights, right? Sometimes those Guardian Barriers were actually working against you. Sometimes it was trapping members of RRQ, and the follow-up, like by that time, the slow was already there, right? So it was really tough just to work around in terms of what Blacklist International had going in their favor.
Right now, we're looking at match points, so we're going over to Mara, where she's down there with the agents from Blacklist International to hear what they think about the games.
Terlalu GG Gimang.
Dengan
Las Malakas!
Agent, and we have special.
Las Malakas!
We have Dixie, Alodia, and Rojin.
I don't know if they could hear the crowd, but it's pretty intense. How does it feel right now watching Blacklist needing one more win?
It's so extreme here. The crowd is intense, but you know what? Even though we're just 10% of the crowd, I want to thank all of our agents for being here tonight and supporting all of us here. So thank you guys.
Las Malakas, Las Malakas.
Ya, di sini sampai deg-degan karena kalian semua, dan walaupun hanya sedikit aja, tapi mereka benar-benar pengen nunjukin supportnya untuk Blacklist International. Dia ngucapin terima kasih buat kalian semua yang udah ngeramein M4.
Las Malakas, Las Malakas.
What do you feel right now?
Actually, right now I feel super nervous, and then
Nervous?
it's really intense right now.
Waduh,
Like I'm
intense.
watching in person, and
Intense,
it feels
intense.
really intense.
Really intense.
Dia tuh nervous, dia grogi, tapi kayaknya kita yang grogi yang kedatangan Rojin di Indonesia, dan dia ngeliat Blacklist, dia bener-bener deg-degan banget dan pengen support Blacklist.
Dexy, how do you feel?
Even though I'm not the one playing, I feel overwhelmed, but I'm really
Baku.
excited on what's gonna happen.
Baku,
Dixie,
ngapain
dia
Baku?
bener-bener
Nggak ada
penasaran
gunanya
apa yang
Baku.
akan terjadi, karena ini baru game yang
Tapi bisa
ketiga,
masuk
dan
sini
mereka bener-bener pengen tahu apa yang bakal terjadi.
Okay, I have a question. This one is for Alodia. The guy over there says it's gonna be 3-1 for RRQ Hoshi. What do you have to say to that, Alodia?
Hopefully 2-2 and may the best group win.
Very nice.
Ya
Harapannya
elah.
sih dua-dua, dan dia berharap bahwa yang terbaik yang
Hari aman, bangsat idol.
How about you? You have anything to say to Blacklist International now?
Blacklist
Dixie or
International.
Rojin?
Kenapa sih biasa aja gitu?
Good luck!
Malakas!
Let's do the
La Malakas!
cheers. When we say Blacklist, you say break the code. Take it.
Let's go! Blacklist!
Break the code!
Blacklist! Break the code!
Break the code!
So take it away, casters!
Las Malakas, kartu!
Welcome back
Pilih
to the Desk
anjing
Actor Service.
tipe
My name is Leo.
ngentoy.
This is Jays, and that's Arashi. We're setting up to go into game number 4, and I just gotta say, fellas, that's the first time I've ever heard a team co-owner say, "Let's take it to game 5."
It's just amazing, right, how humble Alodia is, and that's what I've been hearing from most of the PH casters. But apart from that,
Las Malakas!
also, I think the tension in the stadium is a little bit too high, because I want to see this particular series to go that particular mile.
I mean, if it goes to a full best of 5 series,
Let's go, man.
we're in for a big treat. But of course, maybe you kind of get a bit of a guilty feeling. It's too much to ask
Las
for.
Malakas.
It's so good already. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will see it. But of course, in order for that to happen, RRQ needs to recover. They need to find a
Baku
solution.
gua
Right
langsung,
now,
Baku.
they are losing their way.
Yep, it was a long bout, game number 3. Let's do a quick recap and look into exactly what kind of damage these two teams were putting on the board.
Really hot aja ya? Don't worry, I don't
bout.
bite. Why,
It's
yes.
interesting how Clay is putting 6
Working
digits
from home.
into this, and all the while it was Oheb answering him. So again, you see how important that Eve is in his hands, and this is, I believe, his first loss in M4.
Yeah, I
Avatar
was about to
kagak
point
bagus
that
sih.
out. You're right. That is the first loss on that Eve. making that win rate, win rate 100% to 75%. But like I said, it's a small sample size, so that's a
Las Malakas, bahaya Las.
Honorable mention that's coming out is OHEB as well. That Claw is doing all the damage, all the backline, that AOE damage. And I have to say, Albert also did quite well, 91k damage, even with his wings clipped. That is also something that I give respect for.
Now let's talk about RRQ Hoshi's recovery. Again, if you're talking about the draft, it looks like Blacks International, Coach Bonchan, Coach Master the Basics, they have actually an Arcadia's number. But what if? And Arash, I have to ask you, you're the topic expert this time around. Is it in the cards? What might we see RRQ Hoshi shuffle it up? Are they going to try something else here to try and change the fates?
I mean, they are known for very signature picks, but overall, they are still a pretty flexible team. I mean, even Albert himself, who is well known for being assassin players, he's adjusted so well to playing all these tank junglers. So now that they have their backs absolutely against the wall, this might be where they just, just go wild and just show what
draft pick nih.
That's a big possibility, so we have to see. As Jace always says, it all begins in the drafting phase, and of course, we'll see if Blacklist can come with the same comp again.
So are you saying Sang Raja, Game 4, go bangit Gila in the draft? Because again, I think that's where this is going. Because they solved the Fanny, they solved the Grok, they solved the Eve on Clay, which was 100% win rate. Blacklist let that through. So maybe this time around, get creative. I think that's the only way. Possibly, maybe even try to trump him in the early. But it's easier said than done, right?
Yes, I mean, this is the series that's well deserving to break the M3 results, right? That PCU, but we're gonna go into draft. The canvas of this draft needs to be painted.
And again, change the palette, use new colors. And when I'm talking about that, I mean switching sides, because it's been RRQ on blue all throughout. Let's see if we'll see a switch up this time around. Indeed we do.
Yes.
It's Blacklist this time around on blue. They take out the Franco to join the Eve, open with a Farsa pick, while RRQ Hoshi, they got a 2-pick swing back.
Power dulu, guys. Nah, glue akhirnya di ban.
First off, from Blacklist, it's going to be that Farsa. There's so much roam potential, decent amount of crowd control, and of course that long range that Blacklist has been completely abusing. So right now for RRQ, now that there's a very juicy target there, will they try and risk going for an assassin again? Because we've seen that there is a possibility that they like to explore. They've been able to just jump on Haji again and again. But of course that depends on how many dive tools they can secure in this pick phase.
Oh, there we go. It's gonna be Yuzhong and Ikaja looking for the side of RRQ. I feel like an assassin can still go very well against Blacklist this draft, but it all depends on this current pick phase, right? Yes, you got the Farsa going in. I'm thinking from the Hayabusa, but Edward is going for his signature Benedetta, and there's an Estes, and now the assassin just doesn't look very juicy anymore, right, Dio?
Yep, I believe in the whole series is the first time since RRQ has switched sides, the Benedetta has come through. And
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Already, specifically in Blacklist series, that they get these 3 first picks in this order. Almost exactly the same. All right, the Farsa, the Benedetta, and the Estes. And here's a few words from Coach Arcadia of RRQ Hoshi. We still have a lot to show you. RRQ Hoshi has many strategies related to tanks. Just wait. So this is what I was talking about. He shared this is one esports.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about.
Exactly.
Cing, harusnya naruh kiri gua, bangsat.
Tank jungler, you pull it out now. I think Wise has gone unpunished with the Fredrin pick all along, and you best be sure if RRQ doesn't ban away the Fredrin, Wise will pick it up again.
Lunas actually is the pick for RRQ right now. And speaking of past strategies, etc.
Udah tadi Beneta belum keluar kan?
One composition that I've seen Blacklist struggle with is when they're up against a Yuzhong and a Kadita.
Fredrinnya digasak nih.
That's still a possibility,
Di
but
ban gak
maybe
nih?
it will get banned out. But RRQ will take away that Fredrin, that very pesky, very useful, very flexible Fredrin away from the hands of Wise.
Yeah, this is just due diligence, right? You take out the glue. Edward has been amazing on it. I still believe that's an understatement. And you take out the Fredrin. I hear you, man. I think they have to start pressuring even Oheb all the more, because he did so well with the Brody, did well with the Claude. The answer by Blacklist, they want to quell and stop Baby Alien from coming through the backline. There's the Fanny. Would not be surprised if it was a Ling. The second ban might be a Ling.
Second ban coming out from the side of Blacklist definitely is going to be a link. I feel like Blacklist International has successfully clipped the wings of Albert. RRQ on the other hand, it's their time to ban. I'm thinking you stick to the Barat. I think Barat in this particular draft coming out from Blacklist International is super strong. The amount of pick potential that you can do, but no, they're focusing on the Brody instead.
Had to mention it.
Brody, so I think they're gonna try and target OHEB potentially if they can get. I mean, again, they have a Yuzong already with a Lunox, so if they can make sure that OHEB does not have a very secure, a very safe hero, they can try and shut him down, despite the fact that there is a Farsa and there is a Benedetta. If OHEB cannot scale, then the whole Ube falls apart because the main damage output is still in the hands of OHEB.
Are they allowing OHEB to pick up the Claw that's still out there?
I feel like that's a very big question, right? I think when I'm looking at the bans coming up from RRQ, I may not be the best draft out there, but here's my 2 cents, right? You're half banning, technically speaking, in the last point of time, but no, it's going to be Blacklist, limiting that gold lane, the marksman pool even further.
So what's left out there? Irithel, Clint, Beatrix, Harry.
Leslie, maybe.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Leslie, but I feel like, I'm sorry, this is not her meta.
Yeah, no, the Yuzhong is there.
Yeah, not when you Yuzong over there, but wait, I haven't heard this in a long time, but ours, it's gonna be a Ling from Albert.
That's the baby alien. Again, we read this second ban from Blacklist to be the Ling.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
Mungkin sih ngelepas sesuatu buat Ling.
RRQ obliges. There's the Ling. Oh, are you a bait?
Could be a bait.
Like allowing it? Like,
I mean, we've seen that they were able to completely shut down a purple buff reliant jungler.
Correct.
So letting the Ling go, this might be exactly what they're aiming for. But of course, Albert is no stranger to those situations, so we'll have to see. I think it'll all come down to the rest of the picks.
That's right, Arashi. I think it's all about, you know, whether RRQ realizes that that's a problem. Because if you watch that previous game, Albert has no purple buff for a good whole 10 minutes of the game. He's practically useless.
Yeah, so far Blacklist has been able to solve the Lancelot, the Fanny, and then now that the Ling has come through, we'll see if that's actually in cards as well. And eventually, of course, the Aldous makes it through, and then the Harith. Both signature picks for the remaining players of Blacklist International, Wise and OHEB.
One more pick for RRQ to try and address this issue right here, but it's looking very, very solid. Signature picks all across the board for Blacklist. It's a bit surprising how we ended up here, but considering their hero pool, you can't really say you're that surprised for Blacklist.
No, I think the biggest question
Salah
is
kita pakai
a lot
Professor
of
X di
stress,
situ.
a lot of pressure will be on RRQ. It's up to Vin with the Kaja
Dah,
to try to pick up the right targets. Do you pick up
last match?
the
Last
Harith
match
that's simply zooming around, or do you pick up the Aldous that's going to go to the back line? That just wreaks havoc. It's basically like a dive comp coming out from Blacklist International as well. And there's also that global map presence that could match that link as well. So this is it.
If I may, it's a dive comp with a global box. Because again, you have the Farsa, and then you have the Aldous chase Fate. So as long as Blacklist plays their tempo, then they can do what they're planning. But with the way RRQ drafted, might not be so easy. They have a Yuzhong, they have a Kaja, and then they have a Ling. So there's a lot from the early, mid to late that they can do to disrupt Blacklist International.
And this is a pattern we've seen from game number 1. When there are too many problems that Blacklist need to address in the middle of a chaotic fight, sometimes 1 or 2 will slip through, and that is all RRQ needs to try and get an advantage. We'll have to see if they are prepared for this essentially triple dive coming from RRQ, but ladies and gentlemen,
we're going into game 4, possibly match point. In the studio, we are throwing over to our Bahasa counterparts, but for all of you all around the world, welcome to the land of Dawn. This is match point. Blacks International sitting at 2-1 against RRQ Hoshi.
Really, I cannot emphasize this enough. Match point is what's at stake here, ladies and gentlemen. This is game number 4 in the favor of Blacklist International. RRQ, it's up to them to try to equalize. Results has not been well for the side of RRQ, but Blacklist International, this is still, technically speaking, a upper bracket.
I've seen this again and again, but the Aegis has been used very early by Blacklist every single time. And look at this roam coming in from Hagi.
Oh, that's a load of damage. The Petrify will be able to walk on the way. It's now Edward time to fly away. But Clay is trying to do it in chaos, but the stun coming out from Clay. What is going on for the side of Blacklist?
An eye for an eye. Edward missed it. And that's just how the world goes. Everyone blind when violence rules. Oh man, this is what I was talking about. This is what we were talking about.
Yep.
If RRQ puts so much on the board, Blacklist can't answer back.
Another thing that RRQ needs to really pay attention and take advantage of this is the potential, the fact that early game, Blacklist should be weaker.
Of course, they have a lot of late game heroes right here.
Too many.
And in the mid lane at least, the Pharsa can be a big problem, but everyone else needs time to scale, especially OHAP and Wise, the two main carries. So that is the window that RRQ can take advantage of, and they are no stranger to this position. They know how to take advantage of their opponent's weaknesses.
Yeah, something interesting as well, if you notice how Wise is actually taking the stacks, but hold on, Skylar is actually getting caught by this Estes circle as well. Vin doesn't really have the ultimate, so has to duck out of that. They touch a Nico, Skylar takes some damage.
Lord spawning in a few seconds. You can see how Wise is hovering around his purple. And you mentioned those stacks. Yeah, this is just Blacklist's effort to stop this rampage of RRQ in the early game.
I mean, now with the turtle spawning, actually, not the Lord, Leo, a bit too eager here, but Skylar here gets jumped on.
Oh, going in, Haji will be in and down the left by the airstrike. At the same time, it's going to be, doesn't really have the divine judgment. He's actually going to get denied. Not a very good fight coming up from RRQ, losing their marksman, but here we come. Oh, Vin, okay, gets marked, but Blacklist will not pull that trigger.
Oof, that's unfortunate, man. They almost got the kill onto OHAP, but they're a bit too clean with it. The battle spells are available, but as a result, they're able to get the turtle, knowing that there's a lot more members of Blacklist in the bottom lane. Edward is coming in, being a bit of a menace there. But so far, it's still pretty even, and Blacklist are the ones actually with a bit of a gold lead, not the start that RRQ is looking for.
You know, Arashi, I will agree to disagree right here, right? Because you don't want to be even against a late game comp. You want to be ahead. Right now, RRQ is just barely scratching the surface in terms of the gold lead of Blacklist. But let's take a look at the items, Leo.
Well, I mean, you can see that the Pharsa is building towards the Clock of Destiny. Later on, that will be a big problem. The earlier, like, Haji gets it, the more it's going to be a problem. But for now, you can see Albert just happy feet, dancing around.
Happy feet.
But there's just, without a real solid engage, so far no real movements happening just yet. Vin, though, is the one person that can change that.
You know what surprises me is the fact that top lane has become mum. After that action-packed 30 seconds, Edward and R7 are like, yeah, no, we're not doing it. But bottom, though, Zaman forced out. And Vin and the rest of RRQ Hoshi in the vision, in the sights of Blacklist International. Again, I missed this.
Udah daily lo belum ini seru bro masalahnya bro.
Pure vision.
Gak tau nih. Kayak tapi kalau ini RRQ menang gue baru ini udah daily nih gue baru. Nunggunya sambil daily kayaknya gue. Belum kenapa emang?
With vision, right? With information, that is a very dangerous weapon, and RRQ needs to respect that. At any moment, they like setting up.
Parah ya game kedua ya, kelas banget ya. Game ketiga seru banget anjing.
Bottom side, but yet no real result right here.
That's the problem about the Kaja, right? You need to rely on the Flicker ultimate to land down these structs. But let's take a look at the emblems for now. As both these two teams, they won't be able to find anything on the bottom side.
Just a lot of movement speed and cooldown. I mean, it's just how it is, right? Utility becomes so important for both these teams right now because both of them are not making simple mistakes. They need to be forced into those errors, otherwise it's gonna be a very slow and calculated
Gue tuh kadang pengen dukung Indo, tapi gue suka banget ngeliat gameplaynya BL gitu. Keren banget, masa rapi gitu.
Blacklist have the counters as well. This is why the drafting phase was just so confusing, so difficult to predict.
Yep, again, something tells me that Aldous ban from a couple of games back in the series, Coach Arcadia, Coach Achille, they were on to Blacklist. They knew that this was up. So here, 5 minutes in, second turtle going for free over to RRQ Hoshi. Blacklist knows their timing still. They know that this is not the time to fight.
Oh iya, dia tuh tahu Blacklist tuh itu nggak akan bisa dapat ya. Jadi dia ngambil objektif lain tuh. Turret yang diambil gitu loh. Kelas, senangnya gitu gua gameplaynya. Gila, Turtle dia dapat 2 kali, turret tapi dapat 1. Gua kira dapat itu. Gua kira turretnya si RRQ yang hancur itu. Rugi sih
They're
tapi.
not letting go their turrets for no reason. They always try and find something extra, and this is why it's so annoying. Once you think that you have an edge over Blacklist, they just equalize, and look at that damage though.
No.
That is something that RRQ can definitely use.
What damage? See?
Gue mau dia sekarang ngabisin resin udah 160. Oh, oke. Duluan Bang Snow.
This is kind of crazy, but here comes Adam. It is going to be, oh my goodness, actually taken down. R7 will be trying to look for the pick up right here on the back line, but I don't think Blacklist is ready for the fight right now. R7 will also do that soon. 3 member going down. This is
Beda
not a fight
1000
Blacklist
langsung. Nah,
International what to do.
gini, santai, jangan kebawa momentum ini terus
with
gitu,
just a split
santai.
second to decide, pulls Oh My Venus into RRQ's death ball, and they get 3 for free. Now they're gonna capitalize, push this top lane tier 1, and now the map is much smaller. How can Blacklist recover?
I mean, James was saying, what damage? That's the damage you're looking for, man. When they combo the spells properly, that is a lot of potential pick-off for the side of RRQ. It's not just Vin pulling out Oh My Venus to ensure that no healing is done. It's also R7 with his ice set onto Haji at every single fight, one-shotting him if the Petrify is available.
It's not so easy for Blacklist. Again, yes, they have the vision, yes, they have the box, the space, but when you're fighting a lineup like RRQ has, again, that's a mid-Lunox.
Real world manipulation. Sorry, not the real world. Feather airstrike going in. Nothing can be found for now. Skylar doesn't connect the random shot. I think right here, Blacklist International is just desperately buying for time. This gold lead still okay for RRQ, but I think they need to do more. They need to crack open mid lane.
They're still leading right now, but they're also working against the clock. The late game is dangerous, but the early game.
Edward getting surprised, but he'll be able to get out alive right into the healing hands of All My Venus. That is the question I ask you, Arashi. What damage?
Well, fortunately, Edward was able to survive in the situation, and now Blacklist are the ones actually trying to make a play, but they're sandwiched between RRQ. That might not be the best result.
And not only just that, it's going to be Skylar getting tagged by the Elders as well. Haji going in, the Zaman Force already committed at the same time. Lunox is forced to use the Brilliance, but now R7 is looking for the engage. Albert trying to look for the backline. It's going to be the Zaman Force, but Albert will be taking down the Queen for now. This is not a fight once again. Blacklist is not ready, and they will lose 2 members.
This is a battle of combat mobility, right? There's map mobility, there's combat mobility. You saw how Wise had to walk through the walls. You saw that he was like, oh, Albert, that's not fair. You're on top of the walls. He just couldn't join the fight. And that's just one weakness that Blacklist has built in. And now, RRQ's gonna choke off those resources.
Personal.
Yeah, this is tough. This is revenge from game 3.
RRQ is saying that this is personal. Literally taking away the purple from Blacklist.
Looking at the items right here, Blade of Despair and a Malefic Roar completed for Skylar. It's going to be a lot of damage, but looking at R7, he only has the Hunter Strike. That will be plenty to deal with any squishy member. And as you mentioned, Leo, if they can't find a way, if they can't find ways to survive from the Black Dragon, it's going to be a very tough backline play for Blacklist International.
And look at the clapback, right? Look at the capitalization of RRQ. Straight up, going for that inhibitor. They popped the shield, they left a little bit of bottom.
Oh my Venus! No way! Finn going in for the duck! Normal healing from the side of Blacklist, but it is going to be RRQ.
Class win!
Wow, that was a great play, but R7 goes in very, very aggressively. And unfortunately, he gets taken out. It might not be the best scenario that RRQ is looking for, but nonetheless, they're taking away all the turrets available for Blacklist, trying to make sure that they have all the macro advantages they need to deal with an Aldous in the late game.
You know what's curious is, in that engagement, Oh My Venus didn't use the ult, Oh My Venus didn't use the Aegis, so something tells me it was all according to plan.
Exactly. Blacklist, Oh My Venus has died probably 2 times already without activating the ult, without activating the Aegis. This is not a very good game. Blacklist is still not on form yet. Right now, RRQ, they have the tempo and they're trying to push as much as possible. This is, once again, a little bit too personal.
Kenapa lagi war begini kamu nge-lag gitu?
When has the Petrify available, this is going to be a very dangerous fight for Blacklist to try and commit to if they want to try and contest this Lord.
Yep, it's already spawned, and there's 4 men here. R7 in the wings. Clay just making sure that they make quick work of it. And just like that, Blacklist on the back foot. Wise securing what little resources he can. Run, Wise! Oh! That's all of RRQ on you!
Finn, the conceal play going in the slow, and here comes the dog! Wise will be the victim of RRQ's feisty pickoff!
That is the potential, man. When you have the map control, you can ensure that even though Wise is near his turret, it does not even matter. Everyone else needs to deal with the other lanes, and that is how you can break up this team-fight-centric composition from Blacklist.
Si Kajol bahaya, si Kajol.
At the items right here, Clock of Destiny and Lightning Truncheon done for both the Lunox and the Farsa. But on the other hand, Demon Hunter sword built by Skylar to ensure that in those long, prolonged team fights, the DPS will still be readily available.
Worst case scenario, Blacklist International loses inhibitor or 2. Best case scenario, they find a way to defend inside their base. But at 11 minutes, with almost 7k ahead, RRQ Hoshi, it is looking like it's worse for wear now. They can't fight, not like this.
Better strike going in the same time. The Renaissance will be able to call it on Haji, but the top side is already getting broken for now. Being tried up now. It is once again the Queen, but we will not be able to survive any longer. It's going to fly, trying to chase out, trying to burn by the Lord. Trying to forget about the side of Blacklist. RRQ, they take the Queen and the top side.
2 for 1. And throughout all this, they take down Skylar, and Oheb is sitting at 0, 0, and 4. Albert choking away at Wise's resources. Arashi, at what point can we say that Blacklist can clap back and Blacklist find a way in? Because so far, RRQ Hoshi, I think they're willing to make these trades for permanent objectives.
I mean, RRQ, they have lost like 5k gold lead, but now Haji's in jumped on.
Oh no, that is big problem for the side of Blacklist. It's going to be all trying to desperately try to shut down the dreams of RRQ. But he will lose his
Suka
life as
begitu-begitu
well.
Indo tuh anjing.
It's a scrappy fight.
Udah unggul slow-slow, malah begitu.
Done by RRQ, and it's not good. Whenever teams start trading kills back and forth, the team with the late game composition usually comes out on top. With a Harith, with an Aldous in their squad, it's
Suka
gonna be
begitu ya, kenapa ya?
They have to play calculated and ensure that Blacklist gets locked into their own base, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult.
Man, look at this. Wise is just like getting free stacks. He's just serving up to him like on a silver platter.
Like a buffet.
Like a buffet.
Like a buffet. He's building a hybrid. This is the El Clasico Aldous Blacklist build. You have the Brute Force, you have the Thunderbelt. One Malefic Roar just for sure, just for safety. And then he's building an Athena's Shield. For RRQ Hoshi, I mean, again, they've grown so much from the draft from game 1 to 4 so far. Coverage, check. Protection, check. Aggression, check. And now, this is a Luminous Lord. This could be it. If RQ takes this, and then they win more team fights, it's over. We're going to game 5.
It's about the positioning of Haji. That's a lot of damage coming out with Skylar, but Oh My Venus is around there. I don't like how Oh My Venus is actually positioned, and once again, right into the head of Finn! Real One Animation desperately trying to cover the damage, but R7 will be there. It's going to be the Blacklist International, but here comes Wise! He is hungry!
Gila!
And Blacklist International shuts down RRQ!
3 for none! 3 for none, and they're gonna go for the Lord right at the least point, right where you did not expect it. Blacks International claps back and just in time. R7!
R7! Another point over the side of Wise. The stack is unsurmountable. Haji forces the Albert to run away. Lord given over to Blacklist.
4v1 Arashi. What's RRQ to do here?
They have to try and recover.
Gila, Edward jago banget bangsat.
1.4k only. It is a very dangerous situation for RRQ to be in. I was about to say before the previous fight that Edward is the unseen member that can be a deciding factor in these big fights.
Edward bro, bener bro.
He turns it around, and now Blacklist are the ones with a gold advantage. What a disaster for RRQ.
Once again, it's so weird to be fighting on this side of the map. Haji activated by the airstrike at the same time. Finn wouldn't be able to catch up with anyone for now. And it's going to be RRQ zoning the Blacklist zoning RRQ away.
For the better part of 15 minutes, I get you, Jay, is the fact that we haven't seen Blacklist cross the river in so long. That's just the result of the hard work of the mission accomplished by Agent Zero. You're right, Edward has been doing so much to draw lines across the map to make sure Blacklist can make moves and can clap back the way they have now. And just like that, the gold lead swings over it. Is that, Albert failed!
Albert missed the purple and will get ultimate right now. It's been a moment over the side of RRQ as well.
Gila, buy one mulu Wise anjing.
Blacklist International has a bit of gold lead.
Off the bat,
gila, goldnya sama loh. Dari 7.000 apa berapa ribu tadi?
Division, they have a lead in range, and they also have a lot more sustain and an infinite scaling hero. On paper, this is a done deal, but RRQ, they are known to do something so crazy it might just work. That is what we're looking for right here. They have tried to just pick up Oh My Venus and Haji, and so far it's been working kind of. They need something better though.
Wrong neighborhood, Finn. That's a bad play. face. Sabrats is going to be OM as well. There's nowhere OM to be in. But here comes Wise. Something great for the backline. Look at the damage coming out from Wise on top of OM. It's on top of the Skylar. And none of the RRQ members actually fall. The fight that comes into a little bit so long. Blacklist needs desperately to get out of the way. Albert, the healer, is gone. RRQ, they reign supreme. They're looking to end the game. This is personal.
The last two members of Blacklist International on the map, Edward.
Kenapa sih internet ini anjing?
I don't think so, Leo. RRQ will be equalizing the series.
Warnya dipecah, bro.
We're going to game 5. The Sang Raja claps back. Not here, not in our home turf. We're going to game 5.
Malakas Tiwang Malakas. Kas Malakas, kas.
Blacklist International. And I was just talking that they have to try and do something.
Kas Malakas.
And they go and pick off the Harith of all people.
Kabarin kalau udah kelar. Gua daily dulu dah. Takut kemaluman. Las Malakas, kas. Kas Malakas anjay. Comeback Kas Malakas. Goks, bro. Kas Malakas gokil. Tercumbek. Nggak tercumbek sih. Emang harusnya tercumbek tapi tidak jadi tercumbek. Daily dulu, daily Las Malakas dulu dah. Baru kita lanjut Las Malakas lagi. Turun malam lagi dong gua. Las Malakas. Kastas. Las de Malakas. Gengsing dulu kita dah. Senam jantung gue anjir, hampir kena cumbek. Iya, hampir kena cumbek. Las Malakas, gila ya. Tapi war keren sih yang terakhir. Dia harus dipisah, bro. Si Estesnya tuh nggak bisa. Si Estesnya tuh, si Las Malakas Estesnya tuh nggak bisa disatuin, bro. Tadi kan dia bingung akhirnya kepecah dua kan. Dia mau nyelamatin Wise apa nyelamatin siapa tadi tuh, bingung dia. Si Las Malakas, the Queen of Villa. Sebenarnya kalau menurut gua ngambil Aldosnya bagus. Cuma ngelepas Link Arbet kayaknya agak kurang sih kalau menurut gua ya. Agak nggak maksa sih, agak over confidence sih Link, bro. Link dilepas, bro. Sama Kajanya sih, Kaja VN sih gokil sih. Kayaknya di ban abis ini nih. Kaja di ban kayaknya abis ini. Di ban sama Las Malakas ini Kajanya langsung. Las Malakas, kapung krap tarang parang kerantang kapap. Gokil. Tapi ini baru match namanya, bray. Ini kenapa nggak kejar-kejar ya? The Blacklist International. Ngomongnya harus gitu. The Blacklist. The Blacklist. Bye-bye. The Last Malakas. Lah, ngapa berhenti nih? Gue mau nonton Kaleidoskop masalahnya, bro. Tadi harusnya gue kelarin aja lah Blacklist, bangsat. Jadi lama lagi nonton segame lagi, anjing. Haran mah banyak. Match terseru sih RRQ BL, iya bener. Tapi seru sih nih, yang ke lower bracket seru sih gua. Kenapa? Karena lawannya Falconnya juga GG, bro. Bukan kaleng-kaleng, nggak tahu ya. Falcon sih emang dari kemarin gue ngeliatnya GG ya. Cuma maksudnya itu kan belum terukur ya match-nya sama apa? Sama tim gede gitu. Ya walaupun semua timnya gede sih udah yang masuk M4 mah gede ya, hitungan. Cuma maksudnya belum teruji banget lah gitu. Tapi North Amerikanya GG ya. Sama gue pengen nonton The Valley sih besok. The Valley juga MOBA Gen-nya juga goks juga sih. MOBA Gen. Oh Joy, masih ada kan eventnya? Yo. Buat hitam guys, kita harus nyari buku XP. Kan VYN kan, MVP-nya, MVYN-nya KJ-nya gok sih bro. Ya Allah. Gimana gua ngelawannya? Lawan slime air si anjing. Letus dong. Bakar, mampus meledak. Nah. Lagi miskin buku XP bang. Halo Bang Foka. Welcome to the TAKO Universe Multiverse Freedom. Buat Al Haitam coy. Buat Al Haitam bro. Tuh baru 190 harus 400 kan ya. Dan mumpung ada eventnya juga, jadi gua ambil aja. Sebenarnya gua mah perlu banyak. Buat farming artefaksi itu juga belum. Artefaksi Sekara. Mampus. Mati gimana dah? Iji Gaming. Ini juga Tomamen juga pengen gue naikin Tomamen gitu. Permasalahannya Tomamen gitu ya kan? Tomamen pengen gue. Wah, gua mamam. Iya, ini masih 190 gimana ya? Berapa hari lagi nih permasalahannya nih? 5 hari lagi. Waduh, 5 hari lagi Tomamen, ternyata Tomamen. Ya dulu ya, gue mau cari material ascent-nya si Tomamen dulu dah. Kalau begini ceritanya. Wanderer, God of Geo, Miko Supremacy, Hyper Chino, Raiden. Tambah lagi dah. Membuat party. Yelan. Mom. Yelan Momi. Bersama dengan siapa ya? Sama dengan Raiden dah. Dan Kuki Shinobu. Ngarang aja padahal. Untung gue masih ada 1.500-an yang ungu, yang biru 2.000 anjing. Dapat dari mana sih bang, lu bang? Orang-orang kok pada banyak ya? Maksud gue kadang habis mulu gitu. Ya emang gue event yang ada primonya sih kadang. Gak gue habisin semua. Wih, sakit bro. Kalem dong bro. Kalem lah bray, anjing. Lah aku nggak mati sini gimana ya? Gue lupa dah. Nih ya, gue kasih tipsnya gini. Mana tipsnya, tolong. Tips and tricksnya tolong, mana sini. The tips and the tricks. Tomamen, apakah bisa Tomamen? Wah, lumayan nih. Hadiah misi harian. Udah ada, oke. Inazuma aja lah ini. Karena setiap lu mau farming itu difokusin aja dulu satu, misal gini. Di hari ini lu mau farm apa? Contoh buka XP. Nah, yaudah lu habisin resin buat buka XP doang. Jangan kedih sama material lesson ataupun di luar buka XP. Oh gitu ya. Anjing, gue salah dong tadi. Jadi harusnya buku XP aja gitu. Kalau misalnya seminggu buku XP semua gimana? Anjing gak dikasih napas, Cok. Ayolah, gue kadang sama Genshin hidup. Gak dikasih napas, anjing. Apa sih? Ayolah. Mampus. Selang-seling aja biar farming lu rapih. Oh, yang diselang-seling apa maksudnya? Buku gitu, terus gitu. Buku, duit gitu maksudnya. Ini berarti gua habisin dulu aja semua nih. Ya, nggak kena ininya si Toma. Wah, bodo amat dah, tinggalin aja dah, anjing. Misal udah resin udah habis buat buku XP tadi 1 hari. Nah, besoknya ya lu fokus ke yang lain nih, contoh buku talent gitu. Yang perlu aja, yang lu perlu apa dulu, tergantung di lu nya dulu. Oh. Iya sih ya. Gue terlalu kebanyakan ya. Gue sih pengen ngebuild Yelan sih sebenarnya, karena di spiral gue butuh buat dia sih. Nih, gue pengen tuh ngebuild Yelan, tapi buildnya enak apa ya? Artefaknya gue farming apa ya mending ya? Emblem Saver Fate kah? Senjatanya ini gitu. Ininya masih HP gue, belum hydro damage bonus. Tapi Betty sih sebenarnya. Lah, ini ada crit damage nih, gokil. Kalau mindset lu udah bingung di awal, ya di end of day lu bakal bingung terus. Ya itu dia. Itulah gua bingung terus menerus gitu. Apa gitu? Ini sih gue sebenarnya paling butuh ini nih. Membangun si ini nih. Cuma apa artefaknya gitu. Padahal udah GG ya. Saver Fate ya. Severfet apa HOD apa Gladi apa Gladi nggak mungkin ya, Gladi baunya nggak naik ya. Oh di bunganya masih kecil. Oh di bunganya Bray masih kecil Bray. Ini ada nih Marky Chop. Kambing. Marky Chop. Marky Chop. Pakai aja lah bodo amat. Nah ini ada masih gimana sih? Set Marfakui. Ini enaknya ini kali ya? Ini apa ini ya? Kalau ini sih pas sih. Nyaris 200 loh. Yilan gue nyaris 200. Elgox. MLBB-nya udah mulai lagi. Mana? Itu sih saran dari gue, lu bisa paham ya. Alhamdulillah, kalau nggak paham ya semoga paham. Cabut dulu ya, mau nongki. Siap, terima kasih Bang Foka buat sarannya. Big respect selalu. Big respect selalu Bang Foka, santuy gimang. Terima kasih sarannya bosku. Kita ke Nazuma ya, ngetesnya di mana di sini nih? Kita ngetes hero, bro. Tata ini masih nge-banning. Apa yang di-ban sama Blacklist? Masih Franco, Joy dan Wan. Oke. Masih dengan pick yang sama. Mari kita tes hero. Ultinya langsung diisi kan. Mampus 9.000 damage gua. Makan tuh 10.000 bray. Hilang gue 10.000, mampus Pira. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle, bro. Gila, yelan gue jadi, bro. Tapi IR-nya cukup, anjing. IR-nya kurang, bangsat IR-nya 120, nggak bisa berdiri sendiri ini mah. Harus sama Raiden. Kambing. Ya us lah ya, yang penting udah semua. Udah semua kan? Udah, kita caps. Kita kembali ke Mobile Legends, bang. Lah. Apa ini anjing? Si goblok. Dah mati. Let's go, buru. Mana sih? Oh, ini deh. Udah ada.
It's a bold move by Blacklist International trying to contest.
Udah mulai, Bray. Di iPad gua ketinggalan, Bray.
The
last man, this is it. Welcome to the land of down. Game number 5, RRQ versus Blacklist International. Let's go. Masih dengan pick yang sama, hanya mengganti hypernya saya. Di kiri mengganti dari magenya juga, magenya saja juga.
This is the dangerous part for Blacklist right now. All three lanes essentially are in favor of RRQ. They have more lane control, lane pressure, but Green is getting jumped on.
FedEx are going in the same time, being looking a bit low. Ohad will be the one that finished the job. It's going to be one kill given over to the side of Blacklist. Oh my goodness, right here, just healing up Haji, and they're back to fighting shape again.
The road to recovery starts now. What do the items look like here for Blacklist?
Ohad landing down the damage, but would not be able to be.
Oh, sama tadi pakai Harit, nggak pakai MM bro tadi bro.
Main damage, and here comes the main party. The flicker will be used, but Skyway will be able to get on the south. But Blacklist, they're wasting a lot of time at the bottom lane.
Gotta be maximum range, right? Tactical repositioning plus the flicker. That's gotta go on TikTok someday.
That was smooth coming in from Skylar. He just slides out of that very dangerous situation.
Yeah, jelas.
But right now, you can see that Clay is struggling, man. He wants to get these pickups, but with the Purifies, it's just a bit too difficult. They need to time this. They have to count the cooldown and ensure that they go in for the right target once the Purifies are down.
This Feather Airstrike is a little bit too early, right, guys?
Feather Airstrike!
And it's going to allow RRQ Hoshi to time it out, but this might be because they see that Albert is still going for his purple, and this allows Wise to do the same for his orange, and then they reset. So far, this is good because Blacklist, they didn't expect RRQ Hoshi to play so far. Low turtle resets.
Low resets, but look at the Blade of Despair being built by Skylar on that Beatrix. There's going to be a lot of 1v1 kill potential, but Haji has the Clock of Destiny already scaling towards that mid game. And look at that.
Wait.
Times the Divine Judgment.
Waduh.
Will not be able to retrieve the turtle. Another turtle given over the side of RRQ once again. It is R7 going in a ridiculous dragon form, and that's just the problem that Blacklist International couldn't
Melepas link lagi ya?
Just as quick, I could have sworn the Barats would have survived, but no. They have lethal intent. Oil is in trouble.
BMI already pulled out. Vin doesn't really have the Divine Judgment for now. That could be a side relief, but Clay doesn't have the ultimate, so that is still A-okay. But this time around, they may have actually obviously extended just a little bit too much. And Airstrike zoning out the members of RRQ as well. Blacklist International, the big problem right now is that Kaja ultimate.
it's just so difficult. There's a lot of sources of...
Aduh, motherfucker. Motherfucker, kenapa ini? Masa gue harus refresh mulu sih?
Again, it's just unfortunate for Blacklist that their attempts at picking off, at countering the aggression of RRQ has not been paying off. And I don't know if it's bad luck or you can call it a good skill coming in, because RRQ are doing very well avoiding these tough situations, even though they do not have the defensive battle spell.
At the world stage, there's no room for luck, all right?
Yes.
Maybe a little, but it's more of because RRQ Hoshi are feeling it. They won game 4, they have momentum on their side, and they have a relatively significant goal lead.
Going in. Oh my goodness, just right in time. The ambulance right now is all
The
about
ambulance.
to catch the right targets.
Anjir, Estesnya tercounter dengan Kaja ya guys.
He has a steal leg
Estesnya
as well,
Queen.
so for now, he has some measure of defense against the physical damage, but that's only until Albert scales and gets his hands on him. At that point, the escape is going to be very difficult, and the fact that Skylar is on that Beatrix means that RRQ can slowly but surely siege down these turrets.
How safely and how just cleanly RRQ Hoshi pressured that bottom lane, and that's permanent damage. Oheb now can't farm us safely down there, and all the more this opens up this last turtle for RRQ Hoshi. It's 100% turtles for the King of Kings.
Problem is, Vin does have the ultimate as well. Wise need to step on. He needs to try to eat that ultimate. There you go, Vin. Once again, Wise, Vin does not shy, but Wise will be able to heal up just in time. He's trying to look for the victor, but Retribution, Blacklist International take away the turtle, and this could be the turnaround for Blacklist.
R7 barely gets away with his life, but who'd have thought that Blacklist would have taken
dapat
that
telur,
turtle?
bro.
The mechanics, at least now,
Gokil,
at least
bro.
now I'm more confident that, hey, after a DJ, I'm okay.
Yeah, the biggest problem right here is that Blacklist International, but hold on a second, slowing going on. Nothing's gonna happen for now, but let me continue my point. Wise needs to eat the ultimate of Vin. No one else on the side of Blacklist could do anything at all.
I think earlier, Wise was actually dragged by the Divine Judgment,
Yes,
but
correct.
unfortunately, the Breath of the Ocean from Clay does not land. And now, with Wise having the Radiant Armor, he is going to be a bit tanky until Clay has a bit more penetration to nuke him down. Might be the mid-game that Blacklist is looking for.
Yep, 8 minutes in, they shrank that gold lead, approaching 3 now, it's just barely 1. Oheb jumps in.
Blazing Duet doesn't really stick. But there you go, Blacklist International managed to clear out the topside wave. What is going on around the map? It is the Feather Airstrike going in. The West Coast shot will not be able to connect. It's a little bit too far. Blacklist International takes up topside.
That's clean zoning from Haji right here, knowing that he has a lot of damage in his arsenal. The Lightning Truncheon is not complete just yet, but even then, that needs to be respected by Skylar.
Sakit banget, padahal pakai mystery shop loh.
But you know, there's
Sakit
still
banget
that
tapi ya,
magic
si
that is
Haji
coming in
anjir.
from Oh My Venus and Haji. That is the main thing he has to be aware of in these big fights.
And now, again, with the past minute or so being all about regaining real estate for Blacks International, they can find better engages. This 1,000 gold lead for RRQ Hoshi, yes, it's significant, yes, it means something, but Blacklist can put up a better fight because, again, of the aforementioned pull!
I don't know whether this is a good idea coming up from Vin, but it's going to be Wise. Get a knock on the door, but it's getting healed by all my Venus. And then all of a sudden,
Barat,
they've
gila.
lost their role.
Mengcounter Kaja Barat, guys.
Try to put some damage, but Blacklist International pick one.
Blacklist.
They threw no caution to the wind.
Langsung bedanya 800
down. Blacklist obliged
dari
taking a
2000.
beeline straight for the Lord and watch that green dot. Dennis Welcome still online.
They waste no time at all, man. RRQ, they might try and contest here, but it might be too difficult. Unfortunately, Blacklist will be able to secure that Lord, and RRQ, they just overestimate their damage, despite Wise just building full tank. They need to understand at what point is their damage adequate to try and pick off especially the bigger members, especially with Oh My Venus on the sides.
I feel like Blacklist call right here. Wise is the carrot. Vin hooks the carrot, but this carrot is a little bit too big for RRQ's mouth, and they got hurt. Their jaw dislocated, and this is exactly what happened. It worked for the first 2 times, but the 4th time, it doesn't work anymore.
Looking at the items here, 10 minutes in, Arash, talk to us.
Exactly, I mean, right now, the Blade Armor has been completed for Wise as well. He is getting tankier and tankier, and so far, if you look at the items from RRQ, penetration is not in sight just yet. This might be a mistake, but here we go. Blacklist just sieging, taking away structures with the help of the Lord.
zoning away. That's the name of the game from the side of Blacklist International. But hold on a second, it's a 1v1. Petrify going in for the side of Albert will be duking it off. The time of the blade going in. It's gonna be a fight underneath the turret. It is a trade.
And all that time that Agent Zero bought for
Agent Zero jadinya anjing.
RRQ Hoshi are now reeling. They're looking at a map that's red, wondering where it all went wrong. Because Blacklist has a 1K gold lead.
Oh no, Vin, take a moment, but he misses there now. Here comes the punishment coming up from Blacklist International. Better Airstrike will be able to zone RRQ away. Blacklist International stabilized for now.
Oh, they're going to steal this purple away from Albert, who hasn't even respawned yet. We're looking at a Lord in a minute and a half. Arashi, what's going on? What can we expect in the next minute and a half? Because this Lord, this next one is going to be significant.
We can expect RRQ to try and get a pick-off yet again, but of course Blacklist, they adapt. You cannot expect the same thing to work again and again.
Yeah.
And right now, they have the solutions. A strong front line, they can tank most of the damage, sustain to back them up, and even if you want to go for the squishier members, like we mentioned, the purify is there.
ngelindungin blue buff sampai pakai ulti lo, gila.
Ration their crowd control.
Bener-bener gila anjir
all at the
Blacklist.
same time, because if they do that, then it's easier for Blacklist to identify when they need to commit most of their resources. If they can spread it out a bit more, it's going to be a lot more difficult, and it goes back to that dirty, that messy fight that RRQ usually finds success in.
Two big questions, Leo. Has Haji and Nohab used the Purify? Second question, why isn't Vin catching all my Venus?
I feel like, again, he was trying to do that with the flicker. Unfortunately, he was just barely out of range. Maybe the pressure is getting to him, you never know. But Albert, once again, is going on a duel with Agent Zero. They traded 1-for-1 earlier.
Agent Zero jadinya anjing namanya.
It's still beneficial for Edward in this situation because Albert is level 15.
Arashi tried to answer it, but I was going to say, Jays, I don't have the answer. Blacklist does. At this point, they're in the driver's seat. They're camping here in this river bush, and I'm not sure if RRQ knows.
Man, RRQ does have the map control, brush control in fact, but it needs to be an ultimate coming up from R7. You need to sacrifice that. It's going to be Albert missing that purple buff once again. It's going to be a replay of game number 3.
Oh, this Ling is thirsty. This Ling is hungry. He needs that purple. He needs that perp.
It's unreal, man. Why
this could be it.
He needs his purple.
But now this is an exciting moment. If RRQ can flank around, this might be the opportunity they're looking for. But otherwise, Blacklist has a chance to completely use this neutral objective and force RRQ into an unfavorable fight.
Oh my god.
Do they know? Do they know? All right, that's it. They revealed it. That's it. Yep, RRQ Hoshi. So they're just trying their best to get a reset here. But can they find it? Lord, less than half health. Oh, here comes Vin.
Here comes Vin as well. It's going to be the Econ as well. Will not be able to connect. Clay goes into Petrify, but it's going to be knocked up coming up inside RRQ. The damage coming up. RRQ doesn't really click. It's going to be Albert. Not in the way. And Wise pick up Clay. And Albert still standing in the backside. But Oh My Venus walks on in. He reveals the assassin. Skylar comes in. And Nibiru doesn't make anything at all. It's going to be Oh My Venus desperately trying to heal Wise. But Blacklist traded for Clay.
The MPLID Grand Finals MVP fell, and for no reason at all.
It was and it's going to be the suppression on top of that one. The punishment. Now it's coming in for the re-engage, but Albert trying to look for something over here, but OM is creating so much wrong.
Aduh, OM kena.
The wind of nature activate at the same time. Albert going in, trying to play with the blades, but he gets zoned out by the members of Blacklist International.
Oh, they baited out so much, but they instead traded out, and it's gonna cost them. But at least Blacklist walks away with the Lord Skylar. Skylar had lethal and malicious intentions, but Blacklist says no. 2K ahead, Luminous Lord on their side. What does this mean for RRQ Hoshi?
It means that they're stuck on the defensive and they cannot go for those big flanks. I was about to say that Blacklist are just so patient. They play that fight so slow, and RRQ just weren't able to adjust. But afterwards, RRQ were able to actually get something in exchange for that Lord. That's a small victory, but as we mentioned, having the Lord on top of a very solid front-to-back composition means that now you can force RRQ to go to locations that you want them to be, instead of RRQ being elusive, hiding in the bushes, surprising them with side flanks.
Yeah, now it's come to the point wherein even bush control isn't as important because you still have to think about those purifies. Now, Chase, Haji has his off of cooldown. Venus has an Aegis. Oheb is waiting about 15 seconds from here. So this Lord push might actually be lethal. They could take an inhibitor, or better yet, they might even threaten a finish.
RRQ does have 2 Petrifies left. It's all about RRQ.
Gila, dilindungin Lordnya.
Will be able to zone
bisa
out.
tapi.
That's the Lord defended by RRQ. Blacklist International focus on the mid lane instead. Nibiru's passion, wave clearing, that's all what RRQ can do for now. Locked in base.
Luckily, Clay has solid wave clear. And again, you're still looking at Skylar, despite the nerfs on Beatrix in the recent patch, they're doing okay. Arashi, what does the items look like? Oh, because Agent Zero.
Oh my goodness, Vin
gets out.
misses the flicker ultimate, allows Edward to slip on the way.
That is very unfortunate. At this point in time, that flicker is a very valuable tool, and Blacklist know that, tries to go for a big play, and the other problem here is Albert, but he's alone right now.
He's alone right here, Edward. Oh, Albert needs to get on the way. There's a big dinosaur coming for your body as well. International manages zone out the members on the side of RQ. Bottom lane is already gone.
Luckily, his body was ready. Baby Alien knows exactly what's going on, and he did not have to fall. I believe it's come to the point wherein RQ knows they're playing with fire, knows that they have bombs in their fists and they're waiting to land that big haymaker. Question is, how do they find that angle?
It's such a difficult situation because Blacklist have all their attention focused onto Vin, and it seems like RRQ, they're only relying on Vin to be the first initiate, whereas they actually have a lot of other tools they can use. They can go with Clay on the Kadira, they can go with R7 with a big flank and Petrify, but they're just not exploring that option, and it's making them seem just a bit too one-dimensional. And against a team like Blacklist, that just means that you are going to be so, I don't know, readable, so obvious, and
readable tuh. Terlalu terbaca memang. Terlalu mengandalkan si VYN.
Conservation. The fact that Clay and R7 aren't being used as much to try to get a kill and get vision is because they're saving them, right? They're saving them, but so far, not like this. This is a defensive Black Dragon form.
Defensive Black Dragon form.
Iya, defensif bener.
Already right off early. Blacklist International.
Nggak pernah dibuat nyerang anjing.
Edward has full vision right here, but Blacklist International slowly collapsing once again. A purple buff gets denied away by Blacklist International.
Oh no, the baby alien's not gonna get his num-nums. This is a hard engage. This is tough. When you're playing a Ling this way, I mean, I've heard this from stories. I don't play Ling myself, but when it's like this and your opponents are just denying you your buff, oh, it's miserable.
Yep. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Blacklist International setting up for this Lord dance. It's about who has Lord Pit control.
Easy for now, it's going to be Blacklist, and they're bursting down the Lord really fast. Vin makes a play!
Vin doesn't connect onto anything right now. Oh, I'm going into place into it. It's going to be, oh my goodness, healing members of Blacklist International. Oh,
waduh, Vin ketinggalan.
Will be punishing Vin.
A Lord that's evolved plus Vin.
Ya elah, tong.
The M Series All-Timer has been overloaded. Yes, he had momentum.
Ya elah, kambing.
How they want to operate, and now with 15 seconds left on Vin, the Lord is coming in, and high ground favors Blacklist International.
Oh my god, this is a very tough airstrike to defend while Alvin forced to use the Temple of the Blades just to get on there. Here comes the Bandit's Rage to try to clear off the members of the side of Blacklist International. Even omitting the Nibiru's passion as well. The Lord will get chonged down, but Blacklist International, they do a lot of damage. They crack open the mid lane. That's permanent damage.
That is a main artery taken away from RRQ Hoshi. Albert will not be able to explore the map as freely as he once has in this 19-minute bout. Now top lane inhibitor is going to be next up on the docket.
Here we go. Oh, half petrified, but you're going to get purified. The counter battle spell. Here we go. R7 all the way at the back line, trying to look over. Oh my goodness, desperately trying to heal. But look at where Albert's going. He's looking for the angle, but will not be able to commit. Blacklist International.
Gila, dikacangin bro, naganya bro.
There you go.
Gokil juga sih.
Go in like that, you can see the cooldown on the Purifiers for Haji and Oheb are nearly identical because they have to use it at the same time. They are trying to group together for the blessings of the Moon Goddess, and that is something that RRQ can take advantage of, but they need to just plan it out really, really well, and without that vision, without the control, it's just so difficult right now. And Albert has full inventory slots at this point, so he won't be scaling any longer. At this point, it's all about how fast Blacklist can catch up to the 5k gold, can use that 5k gold lead, because RRQ, soon both teams are going to be full inventory slots.
Yep, we're about a minute away from this Lord. And again, this is a Lord that scales every minute from now on, 20. Plus, the fact that we are looking at TikTok timers. When someone falls, best believe that is lethal. If a member of yours gets picked off, again, like Vin from the past 15, 18 minutes of this game, then no one comes back from that. So RRQ has to be extra careful.
Concealed play No flicker committed by Vin, that's good. But this is where RRQ has realized that R7 needs to face check every single brush. The best part about Oh My Venus on this Estes, right? Your second skill allow for that vision, right? So that you don't really need to commit. You saw it already being used in the I think it was the second or first Lord Dance, right? And it's really come to really good success.
Now, we're about 15 seconds away from this Lord. You see Blacks International playing for purple buff domination. Bombs away from Skylar, and this could be Albert's last chance. Oh, he's so hungry. He wants it. Can he get it?
The question is, but looking how RRQ members come out, the Petrify coming up from
Gila,
will
masih
be there,
nggak dikasih,
purple
bro.
buff will still be successfully secured by
Oheb, I think.
Oheb.
Yeah, as long as it's not on Albert, Blacklist is happy. No num-nums for the baby alien. It's so hard to play Ling this way. I can't stress that enough.
Yep.
Now Haji has a Holy Crystal. That's a lot of damage. One bolt from the airstrike is able to chunk Skylar down to lower than half HP, but look at that snipe coming in. Unfortunately, with an Estes in the composition, Blacklist will be having no issues at all, but look at that play!
Oh, that is the suppression. The Vin needs to try to play with the Dragon going in. Here comes the Blazing to win. No fear for the Vengeance as well as BMI will be allowing Oheb to time out. Albert will be able to pick up Haji for the time being. It's now up to the Dragon to pull down the damage.
Yeah.
Punish Blacklist International. Albert will be able to get out with a single down big over health. Right now, Blacklist International have been about Oheb needs to run away. Let's grab it boy from RRQ. But Blacklist International will be the one that got punished.
3 for 3. Clay and
Gila,
Skylar
warnya
versus
keren
Oheb
banget,
and Edward.
anjing.
This is as scrappy as it gets.
Bingung gua berantem mana, gila.
From deep within, the Sun Raja still in this battle.
It looks so good for them, and then it looks awful, and then it looks so good again, and at the end of everything, it's a 3-4-3 equal trade. But of course, let's take a look at that replay by TikTok. Look at that. Initiative Purifies has been used, and this is the opportunity. Look at Skylar just free hitting in the back. Unfortunately, he's unable to secure that kill. And Albert, he was stuck on the wall here trying to just kite away from damage, and Edward is able to cut him down. And now Blacklist once again are the ones pressuring for this Lord. They have mobility advantage.
Right now, the Lord dance, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what Blacklist is really good at. Right, RQ right now, they're trying to figure this out. Okay, get chunked down all the way, go to HP, and now Blacklist all of a sudden they do have the Lord. It is all up to how RRQ plays with it. Albert is that link, could be able to fly all the way to the Lord pit very quickly, but I think RRQ that lost the topside turret for now. It's going to be a rush, a mad rush to the Lord. Albert on the wall right here. They need to try to do something to tribute. Albert goes down the Lord.
The baby alien secures it for RRQ Hoshi, but at the cost of
lagi-lagi dapat Lord tapi di-push. Dapat Lord tapi di-push.
It is going to be a replay of the previous
Anjing
game.
deg-degan, bro!
Even though RRQ was able to take down the Lord right now, it's going to be Blacklist International. They do have a lot of control to do the damage, but they don't know welcoming R7 right into the tum-tum of the Rats, and now he will be punished. It is nice right now. It's got to get out of there. Oh my goodness, healing the members from the side of Blacklist International. It's Blacklist International!
Gila!
Gila,
dikasih Lord tapi menang mulu anjir.
But Blacklist International send the
Anjir! Blacklist! What the game, bro? Are you fucking kidding me?
There is a victor and there is a loser in these tournaments. And unfortunately for RRQ, today Blacklist International is the better team. Congratulations for moving on to the upper bracket.
The M3 World Champions feel it. The
Malakas, ngeri banget Malakas, bro.
Are the same. And boy, if you watch the last 5 minutes, you saw exactly how well RRQ Hoshi found their window. And even that Lord take by Baby Alien, by Albert, that was immaculate. But at the end of the day, messy as it was, Blacklist knew the way around the woods.
The best match, bro.
Ladies and gents. RRQ, this is not over for them. You better be sure they will come back with a vengeance. Blacklist International sending them down to the lower brackets.
Bisa gitu ya, dapat Lord tapi kalah gitu. What the fuck, bro?
We'll have to see, of course, RRQ improving so rapidly in such a short period of time. We can definitely expect them to come back even stronger from this defeat. But for now, we have to let Blacklist International have their moment.
That's right. King Wise and Queen V reign supreme tonight, along with the MV3. Let's give it up for tonight's winners. Staying in the upper bracket, it's Blacklist
International.
It was a good game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on upper brackets, it's a best of 5. It's not a sprint, it is a marathon. Best be sure, more games for both of these two teams.
There is a saying, if you're gonna go for the king, make sure you strike the kill. But for now, on behalf of Jays and Arashi, at your service, as always, my name is Leo. We're throwing it over to our analysts to break down Game 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you can get a closer game if you tried. Welcome to the analyst stand with me, Lopel, Naisu, and Trex, where I gotta say...
Gila, kelas. Dan begitu juga berakhir juga live gua ya guys ya. Kita absen dulu yang sudah mampir dari tadi. Terima kasih kepada Delana, Bang Snow, ya kan, Potase, Jero Jale, ada Icon juga, ada Bang Foka, ente kelas. Tapi udah kalahnya kalah respect ya bro, kalah. Cheer up RRQ. Masih ada lower bracket, semangat ketemu The Falcon. Let's go, gitu aja dari gua. Terima kasih yang sudah mampir. Dukung terus channel gua, ada di YouTube, terus di IG gua Ranger TAKO, di TikTok gua TAKO Ranger, oke? Gitu aja, pesan dari gua selalu don't trust anyone, trust me. El TAKO pamit, bye-bye. Besok gua bakal live lagi. Bye. Love you all.
It's hard to get past that, and that's kind of what we saw this time with that Kaja pick.
Yeah, definitely around the mid-game, the kill presence of that Kaja just started to wear off. Even towards that final exchange, when he finds onto Haji, and when a Truncheon comes in, he's not able to finish it. Even then, it ends up even 3-for-3 trade. So losing that presence of the Kaja definitely tilted the battle towards the side of Blacklist.
Yeah, we're gonna look at itemization as well as the hero picks because it's very important for us to talk about this because we gotta talk about the Barrage where he's really showing a very big presence in the front line because in the previous match, Finn easily could catch Oh My Venus, but this time Wise is just a huge wall, not giving vision for Finn, not giving him an opportunity to catch anyone else but him.
Yeah, like I said, you know, when that Bear's locked in here, it's a huge wall to get over, and that's what we saw. And also, when you have the Yuzhan, you have this Kadena pick for RQ. You're kind of going all in on that pick-off potential, and as the game transitioned on, you're not able to get those picks. A lot of that firepower, a lot of that kind of cards up your sleeve, they're expended.